And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome all you cool cats and kittens out there to episode number 26 of No Bucks Given right here on the Horny Goat YouTube channel. And of course, Horny Goat Podcast Network. We can listen to us on all your favorite platforms. It is the Roundtable Fun Loosey Goose podcast where basically we just talk about anything that we freaking want to in the world of news, entertainment, and anything in between. This is going to be quite an interesting. I still can't believe we've done 26 of these things. God damn it. It's kind of.
You know, I was just going to say, you realize we're half a year into this?
Yep. Crazy, right? I mean, it's now, we're recording this on July the 2nd, in that fun little grace period between Canada Day and Independence Day, although according to Basement, Canada Day is every day, every year.
He does live in Canada, so he can say that. Every day is Canada Day.
Damn right it is.
Canada.
It's a walking hell on earth. But welcome to episode 26 of No Bucks Given. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, of course. If you guys want to join in the conversation, make sure you join us live every single Saturday night right here on the channel, youtube.com/hornygoat. And you can check along and follow along with the stories as we list all the articles in the description below. And of course, like I said, listen to us on your favorite podcasting platforms, Anchor, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Apple, wherever you guys listen to us. So we're also on Amazon Music. So if you have an Alexa or Alexa-based system, you can actually ask her to listen to us and then watch it set itself on fire. In the meantime, you guys know me. I am Connor, a.k.a. Mr. Marvel 613, hosting this evening, of course, joined by the wonderful members of the Horny Goat crew. Of course, we got the power couple, JP and Heather. What's up?
We are.
Yeah, right there with you. I'm getting there.
I'm slouching a little bit.
Am I the only one on this fucking call that is sober? Like, I'm stone cold sober?
I was
Not
born
sober.
not sober.
So we're doing good. I did wake up in a little pain this morning. Afternoon. I think Heather didn't get to lay in bed with me last night because our daughter, again, Wendy, was up until...
She woke up about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and did not go to sleep until about 8:30.
I don't understand how that kid functions. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't get it.
Me neither. Heather needed a break from Wendy today. So I took Wendy over. I had to go get an oil change in the pain that I was in. And this is why you better love me, because I was in so much pain today. It's the arthritis, that's why. But
oh, for fuck's sake, JP.
I gave her a break from Wendy. I think it was like a 4-hour break. But
Not that you're counting or anything.
It was 4 hours, 1 minute, and 23 seconds.
Excuse me, I had to parent by myself for 4 hours, 3 minutes, and 32 seconds.
Oh, and I love taking Wendy and going with me, but usually...
Let's go, Wendy.
She gives in. Like, she starts whining. She's like, Mommy, come on. And she literally lost it one day. I was going to give Heather a break. Yeah, no, that wasn't happening. She gives in too easily. Mom went off on Wendy today.
Yeah,
so
Mama said
her diaper, and I forgot to take the diaper back. So I had to run and grab some more diapers. Mom's like, you need to start learning how to poop on the potty. I'm like,
Didn't Heather just say that to you too the other day?
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Okay, just making sure that the conversations were
Like father, like daughter.
Yep.
Vacation, so I'll be around for every podcast we do this next week, even though I'm usually. That's all I got.
Awesome.
I'm just here to watch. Just here to watch.
We also got with us the wonderful Gina. What's up, Gina?
what's up? Not much. I'm not going to talk so much as JP does because he don't know how to shut up. Love you, JP.
Because I've imbibed in the good stuff.
Yes, JP is he's happy tonight, and I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to stroke out by the time this episode's over, so that's going to...
Happy. I can't wait for a couple of the topics, so that's all I'm saying.
I can't wait to deteriorate live on stream. And of course, we've got with us the favorite bear from upstairs, Canadian Basement.
I am so fucking ready for this.
I thought you were going to say I'm so rock hard.
I'm so fucking rock hard right now. I took Viagra instead of my regular medication.
This podcast brought to you by Blue
God, why
Chew.
do you have my
You know what? I have pills. I have to give my pills. I have to give pills to my dog, and they look like Viagra pills. They're like the little blue pills.
Okay,
You know, we probably could get a Blue Chew sponsorship. No bullshit. We probably could get one.
That's why his fucking
Listen,
Red Rocket has been
people need
fucking out the
Oh,
entire
oh.
day. Look at this. This is fucking push pop.
I
Red, white,
don't want
blue.
to know. I don't want to look at it. Like, no.
Oh, yes, you do.
Look at it.
It's
Look at it.
mesmerizing.
Look at
Okay,
it.
no, like every once in a while, fucking bear do the fucking red rocket, and I'm like, you can get the fuck away from me until that thing goes down. Mm-mm.
And the rocket's
almost-
red glare
It comes
with
out.
bombs bursting in air. Holy shit,
Oh,
me
God.
now.
It comes out, and my dog
To
just stares
the
at me
night.
and licks his lips. Like, it's disgusting. I don't know what. I know he's thinking
he's like-
what he's thinking because
There was a joke that I loved from Dave
I'll
Attell.
talk the shit out of your leg.
There's a random throwaway
Sorry,
joke that Dave Attell, a comedian, used to do, and it was great. He's like, so the other day, my dog's licking himself, right? I'm touching myself, right? We catch each other's eyes. We both start laughing.
I mean, why wouldn't you, right? That
I
joke of the day right there.
My dog, like a dog licking themselves is fucking just the sound you never want to hear.
Yes,
Yeah,
like
the
Bear
sound's
will
the
Like,
wait
how
worst
is the
part of it.
sound coming from that?
Yeah.
Bear will wait until like the middle of the fucking night, and all I'll hear is
Yeah.
like the fucking slurping noise, and I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, seriously? Stop. Fucking disgusting.
Yeah, it always
Damn.
happens. It always happens.
So we're off to a good start on the show. This is going to be one of the more better ones. You can already tell right off the bat. Again, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button here at youtube.com/hornygoat. Check us out on the podcasting platforms. We got some wonderful people joining us in the chat as well. Our usual peeps. Want to give some love, of course, to Alpha, the real Cody. We got Federico joining us, and of course, Jurgen Murian. And thank you all for coming in and checking us out here on the 26th episode of No Bucks Given. So all Red Rockets and dog fondling their genitals aside, I think we should probably just get right into the thick of things. I guess I have to take a look at the different topics here. What's that?
Technically, wouldn't that technically already be in the thick of things? I think that we can't get any thicker than that.
Yeah, tell that to my
I
dog.
don't think maybe using the word thick when talking about like dogs like is not really the best adjective. Just
It's throbbing.
it's just a
And with that, I'm gonna mute.
where's everybody going?
If I leave and you hear a slurping sound,
If you hear something unzip,
don't ask questions.
you can just cut off my microphone.
Dog.
Can't be both.
So I guess we'll start off with this one because this one is just this shit infuriates me. This is like Karen level bullshit with the entitled mother about the Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah.
I don't. Okay, so to quickly paraphrase here, and I'm gonna paraphrase this very quickly to just for the sake of the argument. Basically, a woman was a 25-year-old woman or girl was on a flight playing on her Nintendo Switch. A mother tried to ask if she could share the Switch with the mother's 2-year-old, and the 25-year-old politely said, "No, I'm not. I don't feel comfortable," and she put up a fucking or an 8-year-old son, and she put up a fight about this and pulled a fucking Karen, and she's like, "I'm sorry, buddy, not everybody knows how to share." Saying this to the son, saying this to the child, and the child, of course, has a conniption fit. It's like, fuck right off, lady. That's your responsibility to fucking bring things on the flight. Really? Unbelievable.
In what world is it a girl's responsibility to have to share her thing that she brought for herself to keep herself occupied
But I also
with someone else's child? I mean, yeah, I can understand if she's doing it out of the kindness of her heart or whatever, or just to, help the mom keep the kid occupied. But if the girl didn't feel comfortable, then it is completely her fucking decision. Because guess what? The Switch is hers.
But this is akin to being like, "Hey, I see you have a phone. Can my kid play with it?" Like, no, it's your own personal electronic. I mean, yeah, there's multiplayer games and stuff on the Switch, but again, an 8-year-old, the Switch, my Switch is fucking delicate as shit. I had to replace the controllers a trillion times because they keep breaking, and that's me handling them. An 8-year-old probably shove it up his ass.
I keep saying this. My God, what is wrong with people? This is why I don't like going out in public.
Yeah.
I really, like, you're going to tell me my daughter has a, that would be like me driving alongside the road and somebody saying, "Hey, can my daughter share the thing with your daughter?" And I'm like, "The fuck, what are you talking about?
Well,
why even be upset about that? I don't understand why people have to be so fucking. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well,
fickle? Not even fickle.
I'd say for this, it's like
an
entitlement issue with this fucking woman
It's
thinking that,
entitled.
like,
I'm not against her asking like politely,
yeah,
like, hey,
and then when the no is there, walk away.
Right. Then like cut your. No, I understand completely. I appreciate you, and then move on.
Here's the thing: a lot of people in today's society, younger people especially, but I've seen it with a lot of older people too. You are not entitled to fucking anything in this world. If it is not yours, if you did not work for it, then you are not entitled to it. Get the fuck over it.
I do want to say this article does specify a little bit further that she kind of berates the woman for being 25 playing a video game. And eventually, like, the other passengers stand up and say, like, she's politely said no.
I did see that. I was like, fucking good on them.
Yeah, I agree with everybody here. Nobody should tell me what I can and cannot share that belongs to me. I personally probably would have told her, you know what? I would have probably thrown the fucking Switch at her. Here, have it.
No, because then she would have kept it.
I mean, the Switch is not cheap either. Fuck. I'm not throwing that shit. I mean, in the end, like, it's your child. You entertain them. Don't depend on strangers.
Here's the thing. Like, I feel like the question that was asked to the chat is a little off because it says, was it rude for the woman to ask to use the Switch? No, it wasn't.
Right. That's why I threw it out there.
Right. But for her to demand,
yeah,
that's a different story.
Correct. That's why I asked that. That's why I asked that question because I purposely wanted to choose the one that's a little more divisive.
It's not. It's so for me, it's like me asking because for who I work for, and they told me, well, I can get you port coupons one time, and they ran out and they wanted more, which is a good idea because you know how hard it is to be living today, and soldiers get everything for free all the fucking time. God bless them. All I'm gonna say is I can ask, but if they say no, I'm gonna just let it go.
But I mean, me personally, I would never ask to use somebody else's electronic device unless it's an emergency. My phone's dead. I need to contact somebody. Can I borrow your phone for a second to make a call? I am never going to ask to use somebody else's Switch unless they're a friend. Or an acquaintance, like I know them in some way, right? I would never do that.
Any normal person would never do something like that.
Well, what I was about to say was, I'm sure anyone who I was going to throw this to Heather too, because I know Heather's worked in customer service before, and I don't know what the fuck it is about customer service-esque jobs, and I'm sure everybody here has worked in that in somewhat or something similar to that field. It blows my mind to this day how people can come across and feel this like level of like entitlement. It's sometimes dumbfounding to me.
Yeah, right. I'm with you 100% on that one.
They walk in the door and they expect everything to be handed to them. And when you can't do it because you're helping another customer, well, I'm never shopping here again. Good cunt, get the fuck out.
That's why Heather was Employee of the Month.
She used to do, well, you all know, she used to do those Rage and Ink shows, and that she would rage about, people. I agree with her 100%.
I mean, I've worked in customer service for the majority of my life, so I know it's like the sheer people. It's a lot more prevalent how fucking ridiculous people are.
Yep. Yep. I worked customer service most of my life too, and it's people are just fucking awful.
So the old mantra, the customer is always right,
is bullshit.
Bullshit, because they're not always fucking right.
They're usually wrong.
Somebody will say, you know what, like at McDonald's, and you go through and they say, you ask for a Big Mac with no lettuce, and they put lettuce on it, and then they blame you, the person standing up front,
who didn't make the burger,
that you didn't do it when you literally have the ticket right in front of you without lettuce. So it's not on me, it's on the people behind me.
But I mean, it's also like
the people up front always get the bad end of the stick, and the managers never want to fucking deal with anything.
But I'll also say, like, a job like McDonald's like that, where you're basically a machine, mistakes happen, man. People need to understand and accept certain level of error in human beings. We demand perfection in everybody else and realize that we're fucking garbage. It's like, come on, man.
What killed me was when I worked at Target, or even when I worked at Walmart, people would come in and they would be like, well, I got this for this amount last week, but it went on sale this week. So they just automatically
want the discount,
thought that they were like entitled to a discount. And I'm like, bitch, the sale was this week. It's not my fault you bought it last week. Like, go return it and then buy it this week, and then you can get the fucking sale price. Otherwise, there's nothing I can do.
There is, like, I have some level of sympathy and understanding to an extent. Like, I understand that maybe some people don't understand. Like, obviously, my line of work is a little different in terms of, like, rental properties and stuff, where there might be some intricate details of things that they may not fully, like, understand, or there's, like, little aspects, like, that aren't necessarily common sense aspects. Fine, cool, I understand that. But there are others where it's like, I'll even gladly tell a story without trying to get fired. There was an incident where basically we have guest parking at the place I work, and there was a woman who challenged the pricing that we charged for her because she did not communicate to us in a timely manner that she had lost the pass for quite some time. So there was, like, I'm talking like weeks. And so she came in and spoke to me and said, I think you're overcharging, is outrageous, blah, blah, blah. I went back. I'm like, okay, well, this is why we did it. Well, it doesn't, you should really warn people about that. I said, you mean on the form that I have here that you signed?
See, people don't.
And without me prompting, she's like, well, I probably should have read it. And I literally went like,
But I mean, this is like, I think a lot of the problems that happen, this is a variance from what we were talking about, because what we're talking about is at a personal level. Now, if we use customer service, there's a system behind us. This system is not logical. It never is. And people need to understand that, like, I don't want to do what I'm doing, and I agree with you. It makes no sense, but this is the rules by which we operate. And this is like, I was in the hospital for fucking 8 hours and got nothing done. Why I couldn't have just been told to leave the moment I walked in? That's because you have to go through some weird-ass fucking slow chain of command, and they have to dot all their I's and cross all their T's and waste everybody's time, including their own.
I'm going to say this. That's why, whether it was working in retail or in fast food, no matter what, I really have no inkling or need or want in my life anymore to ever be any kind of a supervisor of anything anymore. Because everybody always they think that just because you have the title of supervisor that means that you can change whatever the fuck they want you to change. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Even though I'm a supervisor, I still have to follow the company's policies.
Oh, yes.
I mean, especially when I work for the government.
Don't understand that. Sorry?
I work for the government, and in the government, there's no wiggle room. You're not going to get to a place where you can fucking bargain with them. They're just going to be like, well, take it or leave it, fuck off. So when people try to bargain, I hate the idea of presenting like a hierarchy to be like, you can talk to somebody else above me. No, there's nobody above me. I'm reading you.
Yeah, this is the way it is.
This is it. So you can either say yes or hang the fuck up go shoot yourself in the head. I don't give a fuck.
Basically, that's why I said I have absolutely no want to be a supervisor or a manager of anything anymore, because basically all they're doing is, oh, hold on a second, let me go get the person that's technically above me but only makes about 50 cents more than I do, and all they're gonna do is be better at telling you no.
They're just gonna reiterate what I'm saying. And it does depend on the business. Some businesses will give a bit more leeway to the manager to mitigate things. Where it's like, you know what, I have the ability to say, I will give you a $10 refund or something like that, you know, just to get you the fuck out of here because I can't listen to you anymore.
And the reason I bring it up only is because, like, this is kind of just in the same vein of, like, it baffles me that people are still like this, that people are still fucking like...
And the sheer amount of them is what baffles me.
Alpha says in the chat he wouldn't have minded her asking if she actually asked, but not then, or if not, then I can understand. Then again, all she had to say was, no, I don't feel comfortable, and it would have been fine. But if she thought about it, then frankly, why does this bitch even have a switch in the first place?
No, the bitch with the switch.
Well, no, the girl with the switch.
The bitch with the switch wasn't the problem.
Yeah. She had a switch, and the kid was asking for... Not the kid. The mother of the kid was asking for her kid to use it because she came unprepared on a flight, and the kid was throwing a tantrum.
This was on a flight. Aaron, have you ever been on a flight? They were boring as fuck.
Yeah.
There was nothing to do on a flight.
You can't get up. You can't move around. You can't do anything.
Your breath smells like shit.
Oh, this is why I think when you have children, it is very important, like, to make sure not only that they know how to do things outside of electronics that keep themselves busy, like drawing, writing, whatever. You know, that way when you go on a fucking airplane or something like that, you bring them a fucking notebook or a drawing pad and they're going to be content the whole flight. But not only that, but you have to fucking teach your kids that you are not entitled to anything in this life. Nothing whatsoever.
Shoot, I like I said, and that's why I haven't said.
If I had a kid,
it baffles me how people are. I remember this never, and it's been such a short fucking time that everybody's turned into this. Well, I should have this because I am who I am.
It's never my fault.
People are just. People are just...
Well, today's a constant... Today's society is a constant blame game.
Yeah.
It's never, oh, well, it's not my fault, it's their fault. But then that person, no, it's not my fault, it's their fault. And it's just a continuous...
Well, even like, I could see people going, if I had a kid that went on an airplane, I would prepare for that kid to do something. I'm not going to rely on the plane, because I've been on planes where the fucking... they're going to play a movie and your monitor doesn't work, or your earbuds phones don't work, or whatever. It's like, or it's a movie you don't want to see. So
I would
prepare for the kids.
I would literally pack the same way that I would if the kids were going on a car ride. You know, with Bella, Austin, he keeps himself busy on a car ride, sleeping on his phone, whatever. But with Bella, you know, even though she has her phone, I still, if we go on down south or whatever, I will pack coloring books for her. I will pack a notebook so that she can do her writing. She likes to write songs. Apparently, I have a songwriter on my hand. I will pack things to keep her busy, and it very, very seldomly do I ever rely on anything electronical to keep them busy, because that shit will die very quickly. The batteries die quickly.
It's like going on a hike and not packing food and blaming nature for not providing.
Exactly.
Like, you're a dumbass, okay? Just fucking own up to the fact that you're the problem in this situation.
Can I eat your sandwich?
Move on. Yeah, like.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Can I eat your sandwich?
No, I didn't plan for this, but my child's hungry, and it seems like you have half a sandwich left. Can they have it?
Yep.
No. I hope they go let them forage in the fucking wilderness.
I mean, I'm never gonna deny a child food, so I would probably give them my fucking
But you know what I mean. Like, it's the same. Yeah. Like, you have only yourself to blame. Don't get angry at somebody else for your own problems. And that's pretty much what everybody does.
Connor, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
what?
You're sitting sideways. All right.
Who's like fucking exorcist over there, all fucking sideways?
Look at JP's ass.
Sideways?
I mean, his calves, right? His calves. That's the answer.
It's fucking nice. Look at those calves. So good. So fucking solid, those calves.
Did you guys notice how you start talking about his ass and he like slowly turns around and he bends down? See, look, he does it on purpose.
He's presenting. He's like a bird.
No, he's playing out cool like he didn't do it.
Now to pivot shift real quick to the next topic, and I figured to get this one out of the way because obviously me being the Marvel simp that I am, I figured to get this one out of the way. Thomas Jane apparently is looking to possibly reboot the the Punisher for Marvel, but not the way you'd think. For those who don't know, Thomas Jane was the actor who played Frank Castle in the 2004 adaptation of the Punisher with John Travolta as the villain with the hair that would just never be tamed.
Kevin Nash.
He looked fucking weird in that one. Not Thomas Jane, fucking John Travolta did. I still love that movie. Obviously, there's still a lot going on with like the Netflix series Punishers and Daredevil is getting incorporated. However, he did say that he did not want to come back necessarily as the actor, coming in an acting role, but he would love to come in and direct. Specifically, he said in an interview he wanted to do a story known as the Circle of Blood, which is basically when Frank Castle goes to prison and he has to face off against pretty much the criminals he put in there in the first place. Which I've seen it, I've read it, and it is extremely gory and beautiful. It's a really good story. So, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to them doing this story, but this goes back to the whole idea of like, I wonder what the fuck they're going to do with the Punisher in the MCU.
You know what? Like I'm down with him being the director, but I do not want to see the Punisher again unless it's the guy that played the Punisher on the Netflix series. He did a fucking phenomenal job.
I don't want to see the Punisher in the MCU.
No,
it'll be like, how are we going to make this character without making him the character that he actually is, which is just
John Berthel is the one who plays the Punisher in the Daredevil / Netflix series, is who you're referring to, the current one.
I like Thomas Jane as the Punisher, and I like Bernthal as the Punisher. I just don't care for it to be in PG land. It has no place there. And
here's the thing: I don't know if it was true or not, but I did hear a rumor that they were throwing around ideas of how to bring the Punisher into the MCU. They were talking about completely rewriting his whole history and like basically not making him the Punisher. Like
that was they
were going to give him some sort of superpowers or some shit.
That was for a comic book, though. I don't think that's for like
whatever. All I know is that if they ever fucking try to do that at MCU, I swear I will fucking pick it.
He's basically a murderer with a lot of guns. He has no place in the MCU. He's not superpowered.
Oh, well,
you can.
Man,
I just don't think he could do anything solo.
He'd basically be the Winter Soldier without the electronic arm, or
Yeah, basically. I think putting him in the group with like Iron Fist and Daredevil and like that like core groups, and I think that's why the character worked in the Netflix series, because it worked as like an underground team.
Right, but like the whole
series
deal
was
with the Punisher is
series for him.
Yeah, and the whole deal with like the Punisher is he's on his own and he does not give them a fucking chance. Like he knows that they're guilty of something, so he goes and he punishes them, and by punishing them, he kills them. That's never going to work in the MCU, because even look at what they did with Winter Soldier. Okay, Winter Soldier, they tamed him down. Like basically, he stopped killing people unless it was for the agenda of the group, and that's never going to work for the story of the Punisher.
I think what Connor might be saying is, if you do want him to be part of the MCU, he's gonna have to be like a more of like a conglomerate or a backseat, because you cannot do him as him in this MCU universe. It's the fucking take out the lamb and let it be slaughtered, because it's gonna be terrible.
And this is where they went wrong. Sorry, Connor, go ahead.
I was going to just quickly say, if it was me, the way to do it would be to have him be introduced as a side character in one of the bigger MCU movies, as like a, like what Basement said, like a co-star. And then if you're going to continue anything with him, and that's a big if, R-rated Disney Plus exclusive series only, like away from everything else.
That's the only way you're going to do it. They do have their R-rated shows on Disney Plus. They do exist.
Yes,
that's actually what I was going to say. Where MCU has gone wrong so far is everything is so watered down to that kid level. They don't have that like extra step up to that R-rated level, and they need if they bring the Punisher in.
Deadpool's there. He's coming.
Yeah, but Deadpool wasn't originally done by Disney, was it? It was Sony.
No. But I'm thinking like Deadpool might be their way of opening that gate. Because
they confirmed Deadpool 3 will be R.
Yeah, so if it's going to be R, which it will be, Disney will finally have some Marvel stuff that's R. And I mean, it's time because they have like I'd say they have like things like Infinity War and Endgame are probably the most adult products that they've had.
Yeah.
Where like you took a kid
they're super watered down.
Well, I mean, if you took a kid that doesn't know anything about the fucking Marvel universe to like know that like when he snaps away and kills half the fucking people, they're coming back. That's like a horror movie for the kid.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most adult they've really gotten, and it'd be nice to see some of the characters because some of the characters need that rating to breathe. And I definitely think Punisher is one. I would love to see Bernthal come back if they want. Thomas Jane. I know Thomas Jane is a huge fan of the Punisher. He did a Punisher fan, like his own fucking fan YouTube video of it at some point in time. So I know he loves the source material. So if they want to bring him in as somebody that's going to help produce or make it.
If they keep the Punisher true to what he actually is, then I would love to see it. I would love to see, I forget what you say his name is, but the guy, again, from the Netflix series. Would love to see him come back and play the Punisher. He was fucking fantastic. He knocked it out of the park. There was 2 seasons of that show, and I was so fucking sad when I found out that it was canceled because Disney had reclaimed, rights or whatever.
Yeah.
I was so upset when that got canceled. But I know that they're bringing Daredevil.
Yeah, it's definitely in the realm of possibility. We have the same actor playing Daredevil for MCU.
It's true.
Hey.
Yep, that's true.
Got to keep with continuity.
And I think that I honestly think that they know that if they try to bring anybody else in as the Punisher, or if they try to rewrite anything with the Punisher, there's going to be a lot of angry fans on their hands.
You know what? Actually, I wouldn't necessarily like change this too much to the origin story. I mean, considering the popularity of the Netflix show, and they're already incorporating the Daredevil shit, so it's right there. But part of me would be very intrigued if they were gonna rewrite anything, if they would somehow incorporate his origin story around the blip.
Yeah, I mean,
I could see that.
Thanos snapped.
When Thanos snapped the sorry, they called that the blip after the fact, but again, it'd be kind of tricky to do.
I can see it though, because like say he loses a lot of people close to him through the snap. And then he loses the people that survive through the snap.
Yeah,
writes itself.
And not only that, but with most of the Avengers gone during the blip, there's really nobody there to stop the bad guys.
His character's a tragic one, and so while the story right there in and of itself, without getting too much deep into this, I think the concept of like looking to see bigger picture, like the ramifications of what happened with Thanos' snap, you have an infinite number of things that you can peel off of that, and that people don't take into consideration. It's like, that could have happened because of X, Y, and Z, because that happened.
You're preaching to the choir with me, because the snap, though they show like, there's a lot of garbage and stuff when they come back 5 years later in Endgame. It's the idea that like, well, fucking there's families that like, I lost my wife, I moved on, I married somebody else, and then she came back.
Yeah.
Like, like a bunch of fucking weird shit that could be explained. That is like actually very like meaty for storytelling. They just that would be the perfect thing for them to do, in my honest opinion.
Like to shoehorn
I
him
think
in
that would almost be the only thing that they could do in order to keep his original character.
I don't know if they're going to I don't know if the Netflix series stuff is going to be canon for Daredevil or anything like that. I think they'll probably leave it as like they might refer to it, but they'll probably start.
Yeah, we'll have to see when the new Daredevil show comes out with what's his name, Charlie Cox, reprising the role. We'll have to see how like the writing and everything goes from that. But
I'm excited for that one, because like I really did like Daredevil as well. Yeah, I like the guy that they have playing Daredevil. He does a really good job.
Understandable, Alpha. I'm not denying that whatsoever. I just
I don't. The thing is, the MCU is like they're not terrible. In all honesty, they've done it better than anybody else that had comic books at their hands.
Right? Disagree.
Like, so you look in the past, like the Superman movies were better then than any of the new Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Some.
I don't know. I think they were just more comic-y. They didn't blur the lines of reality as much, I guess.
Well, no, of course not, because they were entering in an unknown genre.
Stuff. Then yes, I will agree. Marvel has done a better job. But I know Star Wars is a comic book, and they do it again. That's why I said.
Well, I'm talking about like I guess like the superhero genre.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think myself, and a lot of people are included are very critical of Marvel because they've knocked it out of the park enough times to be like, this isn't up to snuff, even though the movie might be okay.
I have been legitimately overcritical of Marvel ever since after watching Endgame, because now it's like everything that I watch after that cannot live up to that. They kind of busted their nut on Endgame, and now everything following it is falling not flat, but they're good. They're decent movies. It's just they're not. They've
introduced too many mechanics where nothing means anything anymore. So I can't get
Exactly.
I can't get invested when you can retcon anything you want at any time.
That's kind of the double-edged sword with
I know it's following the comic books, but that's kind of.
Well, yeah, no, but that's not even what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that the MCU is a double-edged sword. On one hand, I believe that the majority reason it is extremely popular is because of the fact that outside of perhaps Star Wars, there has never been a franchise like this, but maybe Harry Potter too, that is extended so far as movies, as far as like how like everything is all linked together.
It's its own genre of film.
Right.
Correct. I will say this.
But that's also its fallacy too.
Yeah, exactly.
Marvel was always one of those. I did know about them. I never read any of the comic books.
Same.
It was never as big. I literally, this is what I thought. I totally, because I'm like Marvel. I thought Spider-Man was in the DC. That's how DC is bigger for some reason, even though
DC was a lot bigger in the 80s. Yeah.
Right. Well, I know, but that's my point. And so I don't pay attention to Marvel as much as I do DC, because when I was a kid, I grew up with Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with.
Yeah, I was gonna.
No, I was just gonna say the Incredible Hulk. I didn't know he was part of the Marvel universe. So for me, that's why I'm so. When I go into watching the Marvels and the Marvel stuff, it doesn't. You all know. You just go when we do the review. You'll understand on Endgame or any. I'm sick of explaining myself.
Endgame's Monday, man. That's boy.
I do find it very, very interesting. JP brought up a very good point. Back in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, like DC was a lot more popular just simply because of Batman. We had the Batman series, the Batman movies, all of these different Batman stuff that came out. So, but to see that it kind of flip-flop now, and Marvel has kind of taken the lead on it, there are a lot of new people coming into Marvel that may not have grown up with Marvel. I mean, that Marvel was always there, but
that's
because
why
of the highlight on Batman
in the first place.
I mean,
they're more marketable. DC had more marketable characters.
Well, there's a core difference between the two. DC is much more grounded in reality. A lot of their characters are much more real people with extenuating problems, or like their superpowers are still like, my superpower is money and intelligence. So you know what I mean? Like, it's not my superpower is I can go big and green. They still have a couple, like Superman is a standout because he's basically a god on Earth. But
if he was on his own planet, he would just be a normal.
Exactly. But like, you take Superman as being a standout of DC, and he's the god on Earth. Where Marvel, they're all pretty much gods. Like everybody there, even the people that are human aren't human.
Yeah.
Like, Black Widow falls off a fucking 10-story building and hits everything on the way down and is fine. She's not a
dies in Infinity.
Yeah, it doesn't really but I mean that's now we're gonna get into something else. But in the end, I feel like I'm more of a fan of the DC characters in the DC universe. I hate the DC for the majority. The movies have been terrible. They haven't done it right. They tried to play catch up when they should have been like, we have our own fucking.
I think the two characters that they did do right are Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
The other two were...
Those movies were good.
But I only say they would work if they would only work... Aquaman and Wonder Woman kind of seem to me like they're trying their best to be DC dressed as Marvel. They need to have like their own identity. And DC does. This is what separated Marvel from DC in the comic books and through so many things. But they decided to like, our movies are failing.
Yeah, no, that's costume designing.
Wait.
And
For the love of God, can we please move on past comics?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, God.
Sorry.
All right.
And we spent a lot of fucking time on entitled parents as well. So.
I was just gonna say, I think we've done enough with comics.
Yeah. Let's move on. I'm good with that.
Fine. Okay. So that being said, let's talk about. I mean, I did see this interesting article about Canada Day, and it's not like we have anybody here who's a master on the subject and knows anything about that.
I'm even here for this shit.
It sounds like a throwaway holiday.
No, it's the best day ever. Okay.
No, but in all seriousness, I guess there's
this is
like
more controversy related, but
yeah, there's some controversy around it.
So, as you guys probably know too, like over the last couple of years, they found a lot of like buried fucking
Native American
remains of children.
Yeah.
Centered around,
which is fucking awful, by the way.
It's terrible, obviously, but like it's centered around religious locations. Like they would have, like they basically the Christianity or whatever, who the church would come in, they'd try to change young minds to indoctrinate them into them into Christianity, and I guess they were like very poor. They didn't care about the kids at all because a lot of the kids fucking died and they buried them on the ground. So everywhere that like a church was erected after a certain point in time, you'd find a bunch of dead Native American kids, which is terrible. And this came in, then it came to the point where it's like, should we celebrate Canada because this atrocity happened? That to me should never be a conversation.
That's
well. Here's the thing. That's very comparative to our Columbus Day or even our Thanksgiving, because the same argument can be made with America on those days.
That's what Canada Day is?
No, Canada Day is celebrating Canada. But the problem with Canada Day, the reason I brought this up is not to talk about Canada Day. It's to talk about the fact that people don't want to celebrate Canada Day because of certain atrocities that happened in Canada.
Jesus.
But this is like not celebrating anything everywhere because terrible things happened.
And again, that's very comparative to like people throwing a fit about Columbus Day or about Thanksgiving in America, because they were basically throwing the same argument. Well, you know, you did this to the Native Americans, and yes, it happened. It was fucking horrific, but it's history.
It seems like, and it goes back to the previous conversation before this, the comic book conversation, is fucking people, man. They get Independence Day. Well, you know, during Independence Day,
terrible things happened.
Fighting for them on the front lines. They get that.
Here's the thing: you cannot erase history. You can't.
No,
you can't expect people that lived 500 or 100 years ago to understand what the world would judge them on now. It's a different place. 10 years from now, what I'm saying could be considered like blasphemous, racist, whatever. Or it could be considered like I'm preaching. Nobody knows. You can't plan for the future. So holding people accountable for the past is one thing. This, for sure. it needs to be acknowledged, but it doesn't need to be acknowledged where it becomes bigger than what the country is and what the country stands for. Like, I mean, that's where, like, I got...
Because then that it turns into being what the country stands for.
I mean, for the most part, the message is pretty, like, well respected here. It's like, but like, certain people are like, yeah, I'm not going to celebrate Canada Day. Instead, I'm going to celebrate Every Child Matters Day, which is just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Because every child, you don't need to make a slogan. Everybody knows this.
Well, and to be all honest with you, we talked about this last week, I think, recently because of Juneteenth and Father's Day. I seen people fucking bitching, pissing, and moaning. Oh, you say Happy Father's Day, but you don't say Happy Juneteenth. Who cares?
But who says that? It's not an established saying.
Correct.
So nobody's gonna come. But if somebody came up to me and said Happy Juneteenth, I'd be like, what the fuck does that mean? And
you know what though? Like, I have no problem with Juneteenth because
I hate the name. I hate the name.
I hate the name as well. But it was a day in history. You know. Okay, fine. You know, that's fine. It's history. What I have a problem with is people trying to get rid of holidays or cover up holidays with other names because of something that happened. Because you will never learn from history if you keep on trying to fucking erase history. You have to learn from your past fucking mistakes, and not necessarily yours, but the countries as a whole. And if we erase that, then guess what? There's 50 years from now, there's no evidence of that fucking happening. So guess what's going to happen? History's going to repeat itself fucking over again.
And what's my point, though, is Father's Day fell on the same day. So it's like, fuck Father's Day. Mm-hmm. It's all about Juneteenth because that's all I care about. Well, I don't give a shit. If somebody wishes me a happy Father's Day, I'm going to say thank you. And then if they come back, it happened in Twitter on Juneteenth. It happened.
I also just hate the name Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a terrible name.
I'm all for the holiday, and I'm all for, like, you know.
It says nothing about what they're actually trying to bring to light.
When did this happen? Yeah, sometime in Juneteenth.
Yeah, it should have been renamed.
Well, and you know the thing is,
for me, it is literally a federal holiday here in the United States,
which is fine, but I just don't like the name.
Okay, but like, I feel like they needed to highlight a little bit more as to what actually happened on that day, because I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I know history, and I realized as soon as I fucking Googled it, I realized exactly what they were talking about. But I had to Google Juneteenth because I was not sure what the hell the holiday was.
So I just want to clear this up before, because I know we've kind of gone on a tangent. With this issue with the Native Americans in Canada, I strongly feel we've got a bunch of fucking Looney Tune holidays. Change one of them into, like, actually a Remembrance Day for the Native Americans. Don't force people to change something that should be celebratory for being Canadian or for liking the country or loving the country to be like, yes, Canada Day, now all you should think about is dead Native kids. No.
Alpha just said a statement in the chat that I absolutely could not have said any better myself. He said, celebrating things like Canada Day and Thanksgiving should have absolutely nothing to do with the bad things that happen, while it still needs to be remembered, but rather as its own independent thing. Couldn't have said it any better.
That's what we're saying. I 100% agree with that. We don't need to.
It's basically what I just said too. We have a family day. Turn that into, like, the natives were done wrong. They were done wrong all throughout the Americas. It's true, but like,
thing is literally
probably just easy to have white guilt there.
But the thing is that's colonialism, and nobody has control over that. The most advanced nation, whether it was white, black, Asian, whatever, is going to take over somewhere else. It's just how the fucking species of mankind existed and moved on.
100% correct.
So feeling guilty for something that is just
technically, I don't feel guilty. I don't.
Yeah, no, but like that's what, and to me.
Nobody should feel guilty for any of it.
Yeah, because we had no control over it, and it's also like, are you gonna?
Because I don't have fucking control over what fucking happened. Fucking.
But it's also like this is the natural progression of man. Is at some point people will colonize. It's just what's going to happen. How you operate in the colonization depends on how advanced your civilization is mentally. We were still fucking killing each other left, right, and center. So of course we're going to be like barbaric.
Still do.
Yeah, but now there's a level of humanity that has to be taken into account for certain things that wasn't there in the past. Because I mean, I agree with you to a point. Like I get it. Like yes, we still do terrible things to each other, but.
No, yeah. I'm just, I'm semi fucking around.
Yeah, it's a bit more like you need to report to HR.
I'm also the plane is leaving the terminal right now too. So that's so.
But yeah, that's just the small thing. Like I mean, it was bigger last year than it is this year. But like you do see like and the good thing is like they just. I guess they like there's a lot of inclusion for Native Americans, I guess, in Canada, but there's a lot of inclusion in them for like this the Native Americans who North America.
Yeah, I mean they should be celebrated. I mean,
and they are, and I think there's a level of respect for them. I just wish like they weren't just used as like a tool for like media propaganda.
That's exactly where I have a problem with everything today.
Yeah, it's like we know there's an issue and we're gonna use it even more.
They're like it's just like those fucking feed the kids fucking commercials.
Oh yeah,
this fucking person end hunger in one of these countries that's fucking doing like Suzanne Smothers or whatever her fucking name was.
Smothers.
Goddamn it!
Can't beat that.
Hey, let's do a commercial with a famous person who doesn't really give a shit about little Jimmy John who's got flies flying all over him.
Yeah, fucking Suzanne Smothers.
Poor old Jimmy John.
Yes, Smothers. Who cares?
Jimmy John's got flies. Yeah, whenever they show that, there's like sad, like feed the children. It's like all these bloated babies with like, flies all over them. It's like, man, just call someone with more money than I have because I can't feed them.
The one that always
fucking saying we need to feed these people, motherfucker. You could probably feed this entire fucking goddamn community. These are actually living off the land. You know what I mean? It's just like
it's some dickhead producer with $150,000 paycheck being like, "You out there working at McDonald's, you need to feed this kid." It's like, well, maybe.
No. The one that always gets me is fucking Penelope Cruz with that fucking fly. Like every commercial she is in, there is a fly somewhere around her face.
Well, she probably smells like shit.
Oh my god! But it's like every
Suzanne Smothers over there.
Hello, it's me, Penelope Cruz.
I know there was like a debate at one point in time if the fly was like fucking like computer generated into the commercial because every fucking one with her had a fly on her face somewhere.
Is she starving as well?
I mean, yeah.
Starving for acting jobs.
Apparently, Suzanne didn't get enough love from Archie Bunker.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Heather, do you feel kind of the same towards these things?
Are you smothered by Suzanne?
I mean, yeah, I agree with everybody here.
You me, goddammit.
All right, happy Canada Day.
Hey, I
it was yesterday.
What Canada Day means.
It means celebrate the country for everything the country's done. Yeah.
Perfect.
So, there you go.
Actually, well, you should celebrate that.
Yeah, everybody should. It's like Independence Day is celebrating independence, but we're not independent.
I mean, we can live.
We suck
you're still suckling off of the
yeah, those old fucking saggy breasts. We're just licking them dry.
Fucking the queen.
Mm-hmm. We're eating her dust.
Ew.
What?
Suzanne Summers, that fucking bitch.
Anyway, let's talk about mammoths. Speaking of breasts, let's talk about mammoths. So apparently a whole baby mammoth was found frozen. I actually heard a little bit about this before someone brought it up. I don't know about you. This is fucking really cool to me. I mean, I'm assuming it's dead.
No, it's alive.
Well, I'm assuming, yeah. It was found in ice.
It's like Steve Rogers.
Did you ever see Encino Man?
Captain Mammoth.
Wait, Captain America, but by the end of Endgame, he turned into Joe Biden.
Oh,
No, he did turn into Joe Biden. No, I don't think I will. So you're gonna fix America? No, I don't think I will.
Basement, please remember to say this on Monday, please.
It's the perfect.
So you're gonna fix America? No,
No.
I don't think I will. Anyway, Baby Mammoth.
I think
this
they've
is
actually
really fucking cool to me.
I think they've actually somewhere in the world they have made a mammoth.
Somebody has had to at least once.
They've been trying for forever, so it's definitely existing somewhere in the annals.
But I mean, this
time.
is not a made one. This was like dated back to
it's a dead baby.
Time.
It's a dead baby.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, for the most part, they share a lot of DNA with elephants, so it's just
But
like.
yeah, they do. But what I found fascinating about it
Put a
was the
wig on
fact
an
that it
elephant.
was whole. Like, it was whole, because a lot of times, you find fossils, and obviously the bones are, like, scattered all a little. They're in the same area relatively, but they're scattered all over the place.
Which would have to mean
But this
like
one was pretty much, like, this one was intact because it was actually frozen in its spot. Like,
it would have to
I
mean
think it was in a
either,
glacier or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say either a deep freeze happened real quick, or it broke through the ice and ice cubed.
Mm-hmm.
So the question I threw to the chat, and I was curious to you guys. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm not gonna revive this one, but do you think we're closer to getting like mammoths in
Yes.
modern time?
I also heard that they want to do this for
don't
helping
understand
global warming.
but why though? So they could put them in zoos?
No, because they were an essential. They had an essential part in helping with global warming, where there's like a permafrost under part of the Earth in like Scandinavia or something, and like their herding in that area kept the permafrost from releasing into the atmosphere due to warmth, just from the mass of their body or something. I'm loosely quoting what I read. So the idea was to do this again. It sounds ridiculous, but there's some form of wacky science behind it.
Okay, so I've got an article from the Smithsonian pulled up about this.
Yes, there you go. It's going to be better than
1 second.
anything
my
I
phone
could
is
say.
fucking being ridiculous.
Your bone?
It says my phone.
Oh.
It says if you manage to time travel back to the Ice Age in Europe, you might have been forgiven. You might be forgiven for thinking you had to instead crash land and blah 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 blah. It says.
Yes, Cole's
says
notes.
ad. Unfortunately, both mammoth and most mammoth ecosystem today,
It's like
but
the Icelandic
have long
steppe or
disappeared.
something.
Blah 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 blah. Trying to get to the gist of the. I hate when fucking articles do this.
You
by
read
the way.
away. We'll continue talking about mammoths.
Yeah.
I have never seen an elephant. I would much enjoy seeing one. I don't want to see it in a zoo. I'm gonna go to fucking Philippines or Africa.
I was gonna say, you've never been to a fucking zoo, huh?
I hate zoos. Fuck zoos. Zoos are evil.
I would like to go. I would actually like to see an elephant in the wild as well. And
Well, they
up
have
there
like elephant.
with my big dick.
They have elephant rides in the Philippines.
Oh, they used to have elephant rides at the circus. That's where I saw my first elephant.
I feel like
And
that's
they
just
did
like
elephant ride.
They actually had to take
the circus
elephant
is like circus and the zoo are like extremely cruel. I hope they never exist in 10
They are.
years.
They are.
Aren't circuses on like a general decline anyway?
Yeah.
Because of that reason?
Yeah, because they got all the animals taken away from them for animal abuse. Dumbo,
I mean,
remember him?
zoos. I think it I think zoos. I think it depends because I've heard about good ones, but I've also heard of.
Unless you're giving the animal like acres upon acres of land, you're fucking that animal.
But even
Okay,
that
so-
though,
It just
It's
means
not-
you need to go to Disney's safari.
what's that?
Okay. So there's a group of genealogists from Harvard that are hoping to change global warming by cloning living elephant cells that contain a small amount of component of synthesized mammoth DNA. They claim that reintroducing such mammoth-like creatures to the Arctic tundra environments could help stop the release of greenhouse gases from the ground and reduce future emissions as temperatures rise due to climate change. Well, this might sound a far-fetched idea. Scientists have actually been experimenting with something similar for over 20 years.
Okay, I'm not even gonna try.
There's a huge amount of green gases, like greenhouse gases, trapped under the permafrost there. That if the world heats up, you're gonna get like a bullet to climate change, basically.
I'm trying to figure out what mammoths have to do with it.
It has to do with their migration and the fact that they like.
But can't we put like fucking like? I don't know.
It's the way that they feed. I think it was the what they feed upon or some shit. Am I wrong?
Okay.
No. Basement just basically said, with the permafrost and the carbon that's built up underneath the permafrost, if that melts, then the carbon,
I know what it means.
It says, I'm getting to it if you'll let me read. It says if that thaws out, microbes will bring down soil organic material to release carbon dioxide and methane into the atmosphere. As a result, permafrost and the associated carbon pools have been likened to sleeping giants. Mammoths and other large herbivores of that time continually trampled mosses and shrubs, uprooting trees and disturbing the landscape. In this way, they inadvertently acted as natural geoengineers, maintaining highly productive steep landscapes full of grasses, herbs, and no trees. Bringing mammoth-like creatures back to the cold tundra could, in theory, help recreate the steep ecosystem more widely. I can't read tonight, sorry. Because grass absorbs less sunlight than trees, this would cause the ground to absorb less heat and in turn keep the carbon pools and their greenhouse gases on the ice for longer.
I can't with this.
Well, it's a natural way of doing something you could do electronically, but think about that.
It does make sense.
Hold on.
It does make sense, actually.
Hold on.
I read this like a year ago.
About people cutting trees down if we're going to allow elephants just to knock trees down.
It's where it is. It's where it is. There's no other animal of that size you can put there and live.
I understand why, but I don't understand why it has to be mammoths. It's not...
What else would it be?
That's big enough and can withstand the temperature.
Yeah, they need something that's big enough and has the tusks that can move the trees and shit.
I mean, you throw vehicles up there, it's not going to really work.
Bring
back the mammoth. Let me ride it. That's all I want.
Where's Basement?
You know what? I bet you any money they smelled so fucking terrible.
Oh, I bet elephants fucking stink really bad.
On the idea, I just don't get why it has to be a mammoth. I know they're fucking huge, hence the word fucking mammoth, but
it's the size and the weather that they can take.
JP, what basically in the end, what they're trying to do is all of these places that have the frozen tundra, in order to try to lock that carbon in there so that it doesn't turn into a fucking ticking time bomb. The mammoths could promote grasslands and simultaneously slow the thawing of these frozen soils. That's like why they want to bring them back, basically.
I get all that. That I get it.
I just don't understand, like... Well, I mean, I can understand... I guess they can't exactly plant grass on a frozen tundra, like it has to happen. But
it's the natural way of doing something that you can't do properly any other way.
I'm not going to lie. This is something... If they've been working on this for 20 years, this is something that needed to be done probably at least 10 years ago, because...
Give me a mammoth.
Can't do this, but
with the rate that shit... With the rate that shit is thawing now,
I'm thawing so hard.
I don't know if they're going to get this done in time, because, like, in order to develop an ecosystem like that, you have to first get the mammoths, but then as soon as you get the mammoths, but even after you get the mammoths, it's still going to take years for that ecosystem to develop. And will it be done in time is the question.
No.
Exactly, because like the Earth is rapidly on fire.
I don't want to talk about this shit. This is I don't care.
I mean, I can talk about this shit for hours, but go on.
I'm not saying it.
No, it would happen in time. I feel like people tend to think like the climate change is going to kill us all in my lifespan. No. Yeah, man, the climate is changing anyway. And really, do you want to save people?
Okay. No. Here's the thing. one of the most of these people, they're Russian scientists because it's a tundra, right? But JP, you asked why mammoths, but they right now currently they do have around 100 animals roaming free, including bison, musk ox, moose, yaks, horses, and reindeers. So they are trying to experiment with other animals as well.
Okay. What's it called? Does anybody remember, like, what was it called? The yak? That fucking goo shit that you can play with?
Yak.
What? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, right?
That shit.
Yak. It was like
I believe
goo
it was yak,
or something.
Right, we had Gak.
Gak.
Gak. That's what it was.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about now?
We're talking about gak.
Oh, it was like a slime.
You ever get a big load of gak in your hand?
Yeah.
I had a little silly putty in my hand once. That's
With his
probably
38
about
bones.
most- I got Wendy silly putty once. Never again.
Silly putty smells gross.
Silly putty
Not silly
it's
putty.
always so fucking hard. Like you can't really do anything with it. You know, we had
you can do
goo.
something with it.
You know,
So Gak was a
slime
Nickelodeon thing.
goo.
Oh, was it? Yeah, Nickelodeon can eat my ass.
But it was like boogers. For
Well,
lack of a
Yeah,
better
it was
term.
literally
Yeah.
like
They
thick
had different colors.
slime.
Like I said,
You
it
guys-
was slime before slime was popular.
And then you drop it on a
You
carpet and
guys
you become
remember-
disgusting.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Do you guys remember the balls? The balls that they had where you threw them at the wall and they would like roll down the fucking wall.
And
Do you guys
also,
remember those?
remember that like
And it would
sticky
pick up
hand?
like every ounce of fucking dust that was
Yeah,
on the wall
it's-
before hitting the floor.
you had fun with it for an hour before it became
Yeah,
a fucking.
before it became
it became
non-operable.
like a post-teenager nutsack.
I also
Ugh.
remember those. I also remember those fucking gooey hands that had
Yeah, the sticky
had
hands.
the things where you would where you like fucking slap somebody across the face with it.
They were clean for about 20 seconds as soon as you got them out of the little corner. Like
Yes!
yeah. Second
were
you stick them on
great.
the window, fucked.
Didn't
It's like,
last.
oh god, I didn't realize.
My mom used to like yell at me because she would buy me those like little balls that like went on the wall. Like I can't remember what they were called, but she would buy me those, and she would yell at me because within like
They're furry.
like an hour tops, they were all furry and stuff, and I couldn't play with them anymore. And she's like, "It's a waste of money."
Oh, you can still play with them.
I can't fucking help it. I'm like, it's literally picking up all of the dust in the house. Like,
actually
what do you
more
want me to
fun.
do?
What did you
man.
say, JP?
Those things are a money grab.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly what they
all
are.
of
Well,
those
the
little
original-
dollar toys.
But the original ones that they came out with, they weren't necessarily a money grab because those ones you could wash off and let them dry, and then they would re-stick again. But then after a while, they stopped making them like that.
You know what's really popular now? The Poppets.
I don't know what a pop
Mhm.
is.
Bella has 50,000. Basically, it's bubble wrap that you can use over and over again.
It's essentially what it is. I'll
That
go
actually
get one.
sounds pretty cool.
Bella
Oh, I
has
know
like
you're talking- yeah, yeah, yeah.
50,000 of these
It's
things. She, like,
hypnotizing to play with one.
Bella loves these damn things.
Pop it, twist it, twerk.
My kids have
Jerk it.
seriously just about
Milk it.
every like any kind of like fidget thing
Spinner?
that they have, like a sensory no, not just a fidget
I had a
spinner,
couple
but
fidget
like
spinners.
but they make a bunch of different fidget toys now. Like they have a cube that has like a bunch of different shit on it. It's just stuff that they call them fidget toys
That
because
was
it's
those
stuff
things.
that you play with in order for sensory shit.
That was
Yeah,
that
those are
guy
the
that
pop
was
things.
gay and disabled. He was a fidget spinner.
Yeah, but like my kids have like every fucking thing that you can possibly think of because like as soon as it comes out, I told my mom, "Grandma, I want one of them." Okay, she goes and fucking buys it
We
immediately.
just showed you a Poppet basement if you didn't see it.
Oh man,
That's what a Poppet is.
Was it Pride Month?
Heather is just now become entranced by the Poppet.
Yeah,
That's
they're really good for sensory shit with kids. Like okay, for instance, with Bella, you guys know with Bella's stuff. So like what she has going on. So like, she sometimes she needs something to just kind of calm her down a little bit,
Same.
and those things are fucking fantastic.
You realize we started this conversation talking about mammoths?
Yeah.
Yes.
How did we get to?
Pop it.
Welcome to Horny Goat, everybody, where we fucking ramble about weird shit.
And yes,
and
this
you love
is
it.
exactly how we usually talk to each other, even when we are not live.
It's
Basically.
true. Like we are the most random fucking people I've ever met in my entire
All right,
life.
the plane is experiencing turbulence up in here, so if I'm super quiet,
All right.
Yeah.
We can move on from the Mammoths.
Yeah, that kind of works. Let's talk about some wrestling stuff since we're all big wrestling fans. First one, I did see this trend on Twitter yesterday, but I didn't get the full details about GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, had a match that was stopped after apparently there was a light tube stabbing spot that went horribly wrong. That statement
Was that with
right
Joey
there.
Janela?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, that's surprising. Okay.
What? No.
But this is the statement. The headline in and of itself is just funny to me in terms of the sense of like GCW match stopped after light tube stabbing spot goes horribly wrong.
Well, of course it is.
The idea of a light tube stabbing spot going amazingly right is just so. I did hear about this, that there was some sort of like stabbing incident at a show that where like everything like came to like a complete stop. So apparently there is a moment or a video out there where there's the two wrestlers, Slade and Hoodfoot, interesting names. And says Slade is seen breaking a light tube, and then he proceeds to stab Hoodfoot in the arm. Hoodfoot then began bleeding, and it got so bad it looked like blood was pouring out of his arm like a faucet. Referee tried to use tape on Hoodfoot's arm before stopping the match. A warning to everyone reading. That they have a video link of it actually below. Have you guys seen it? I have not seen it yet.
I'm gonna pull it up here.
We'll sign them within the next couple of weeks.
Warning, graphic video. Hold on. I will show this.
This is wrestling today to me. This is what people want to see.
Nobody wants to see this.
Basically, they want to see a murderer on screen. Like,
the point. What I'm saying is this is what it's come to. The only way somebody's going to get entertained in wrestling is if somebody literally stabs somebody with a light tube.
Oh, Jesus. I just saw it. Wow, that is fucking bad.
I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming I'm correct. He pretty much just fucking jabbed him with a fucking light tube.
I'm looking.
I mean,
why is this an 8-minute video? Hold on. I'm gonna jump around here.
That's my issue with
jump around.
So it looks like he obviously hit like a pretty much major artery or vein.
Artery, yeah.
Yeah, because you can tell from the obviously we're not going to show it here, but
I mean, I was just gonna say, let's get real. This is not like the first.
Yeah, GCW is known for doing shit like this, so it's not really too surprising.
ECW. We had fucking New Jack that was literally trying to kill people.
The fucking David Arquette and what's his name?
Oh yeah, he's fucking. Was this the guy bleeding from the head?
Yeah, just no. I don't know how people can think that this is good shit.
It's not wrestling. It's just the fucking. It's violent porn.
It's so
legal violence.
I never got into the deathmatch shit. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like the deathmatch shit, I never enjoyed. And the main reason is because there is a lack of skill behind it. Like,
exactly.
Aside from tolerance of pain and being like quote unquote tough, there's nothing there for me. There's no like you're not doing anything super athletic. You're basically just it's demolition derby. Like, yeah, you can say the same thing about the hardcore matches and sometimes in WWE in the early days, but like at least those matches had usually some, not always, but some sort of like athleticism or creativity to them to the point where like these ones are just like fucking like, come on.
I don't know about the super athletic part of it because I do actually have a friend that is notoriously known around the Texas area for his death matches and things like that. His name is Chino. Shout out to fucking Chino. And I think that he would argue about, it not being.
I think the point that Connor's trying to make. The point that Connor's trying to actually, I think, is that it doesn't take an athletic person to have a death match.
I'm
obviously you don't have to be super athletic or super athletic. I can't talk. Sorry.
No, and you know what? I'm painting a very broad picture with that. I understand that there might be people who are, have been trained and worked and all that shit. But generally speaking, I had a friend who loves the deathmatch wrestling stuff, and it's like, dude, it's not really even wrestling. It's more just deathmatch, like. Let's beat the shit out of each other as much as possible. But it's like,
here's what.
I don't even know.
Here's what
Heather, I don't know if that was the actual thing.
Here's what I classify deathmatch wrestling is. Deathmatch wrestling is basically legal violence. So the people that have a tendency to like that kind of wrestling, they want to see extreme violence, but they don't want to do it in a way that is illegal. So,
I mean, to me, it's not
match wrestling.
If your wrestling isn't really like telling a story to any extent, and if the story is just I'm going to stick a screwdriver in someone's head, I'm going to bust a light bulb over someone's head, and then we're going to both walk away bloody, bruised, and scarred. I can only talk for myself. It's not for me at all. I just send
it into the creators room on Twitter, in case you were looking for a basement. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely. Oh yeah, this is a completely different. Let me.
Let's just wait.
Let me.
Oh yeah, that was done by complete fucking accident, though. Like,
but my point is that
usually when something like that happens, it is done by accident. But the point is, it's
you're
not
in
necessary.
a place to have that happen because light tubes. I'm sorry, get them at a fucking wrestling, man.
Oh yeah, he hit a artery because that guy is pouring blood like fucking no tomorrow. Goddamn.
Fine, once in a while.
Oh god, it would just gush. Oh.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna show.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm just gonna skip.
I'm just saying, once in a while is fine. Like if you're having a high-profile match. I mean, even the light tube thing. Again, if it's once in a while, but it gets to the point where like if it's done on a regular basis, it's like, Jesus. We also have
yeah, his arm's fucked, right?
Well, I have.
Oh god, yeah, he is gushing.
He's gushing. But like my friend Chino that I was talking about, like I talked to him and I have told him flat out. I could never watch one of his matches because don't get me wrong, like I'm all for fucking gore and all this shit when it comes to movies and stuff. But if it was actually watching somebody that I cared about, like a friend out there wrestling in a match like that, I would not be able to fucking watch it. Like I couldn't even watch a stranger in a match like that. If there's blood and all that shit like that, let alone a friend or a relative or whatever.
Disgusting.
I would be the mom. Like if I was at one of those matches, I would be the mom going, "Is he okay? Get the band-aids. Call the ambulance."
Holding the purse.
I don't see.
Someone call his mother.
The thing is, if it was
exactly,
if it was so watchable, they'd have bigger audiences, and they don't. It is the backyard wrestling, the higher. It's basically tip of the mountain for backyard wrestling in terms of terrible shit.
And I don't know about. I don't know about
the dumbest thing I've ever seen on.
Yeah, the match fucking sucks.
Here's the thing. I don't like whole promotions like that. That every fucking match is like that. I know, like. Again, not to bring up Chino again, but I know Chino, the where he usually wrestles, they have a variety of different matches, and like they may have like one death match or one ladder match or whatever. So the whole promotion is not all death matches. I couldn't watch that.
I mean, I don't know how long, and Alpha in the chat said this is like the type of shit John Moxley used to do before. Well, Dean Ambrose and John Moxley are one of the same. Used to do before Dean Ambrose era in WWE. CZW is the safer version of what that was.
Yeah, and CZW also is one of the like what I was just saying. That not every match in that company is a death match.
And don't get me wrong,
like they've pigeonholed what's his fucking nut into that fucking. That's what his gimmick is. Joey Janela. That's what them guys were there for, and that's why they're so over. They're called indie darlings.
Well, actually, Joey is back in Indies again because he left AEW.
Yeah, because he's not a good wrestler. He's just not. He's good at getting beat up, and he's good at getting abused in matches that are like this. And it's just like, first of all, like there's some of these guys might have talent hidden somewhere, but these matches don't showcase that. A guy gets hit with the fucking light bulb and bleeds out in the mat. It's like, who's this for?
The same way. I'm not sitting here saying that the two guys in this match couldn't wrestle. This isn't fucking wrestling. And if
we could bring
gets them over, I would never hire any of these fucking guys.
But we could bring this all back to pretty much New Jack, because New Jack was the one that made this type of wrestling. Yeah, but he was the one that made the fucking extreme wrestling like this.
It's funny because he wasn't, which is the funny thing. If you go back and watch his earlier stuff in Smoky Mountain, he was actually pretty good.
I don't know. I know Chino has wrestled. He obviously had wrestled because New Jack is gone now, but he wrestled New Jack a bunch of times, and he said that guy can actually fucking wrestle. But he was also, he said that for as mean as he come off on the screen, he was even fucking meaner in real life. So
I've met New Jack. He's yeah.
But I will say that New Jack could actually wrestle before, and I agree, I've seen his stuff. But he was playing, what was good with New Jack in Smoky Mountain was his, the whole Smoky Mountain wrestling, and he was a black hip hop guy that just hit the storyline with them. He was pretty good though. But yeah, New Jack, when he got to ECW, but he wasn't a regular with ECW.
No, he was
either. Not. He showed up when they had.
But I would still say ECW is probably the most extreme version of wrestling I'd go, and it was still wrestling more than it was extreme.
Yeah,
because their champion was an actual fucking wrestler, and
everybody that was there could wrestle. Almost everybody. Let's just say that. And Lucha Underground was more like ECW than AEW was.
Everybody shits all over Lance Storm for as boring as he was supposed to be. But then again, he was playing a heel. I actually like Lance Storm shit because he was playing a heel. You know how Canada, the wrestling is boring with Canada.
Yeah, it's fucking mad wrestling.
He was like just playing off of that. And Lance Storm did a great job. He was in ECW. He was a wrestler who could wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
They were tag team champions for the longest time. They can't.
Well, I mean, look how many people came from ECW and made a name for themselves in WWE. It just shows you that wrestling was still at the forefront in ECW. The Extreme was there to have it different and a selling point. Where this is just gratuitous violence.
Yeah, this is just bad.
It's violence for violence sake. It has nothing to do with anything that I can see.
ECW isn't when it's right below it's like the tier below, because I've heard of it before and I don't pay attention to the indies at all. So GCW is like that little step below CZW, right?
They're in the same realm, from my understanding.
Okay.
Of being like more shocked than actual anything else.
Talking about there's different levels of wrestling. There's the entry level, the indies, and then there's the indies.
I mean, from just googling GCW, I saw like half the roster is just like middle-aged guys out of shape, fucking cutting each other.
Okay. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my point is that like I'm obviously surprisingly still a fan of wrestling, but that level of stuff is just like. Fine, every so often cool, but like it's so like again, aside from being super tough, there's really not too much skill involved with this. And so anybody can get in there with a t-shirt and jean shorts and buy light tubes from Home Depot and just go in there.
It's backyard wrestling. With a camera and a bit of production value.
I know Liv Morgan won the title. Jurgen. I hated that decision, but that's another story within itself. Go ahead.
Well, she'll lose it.
I'm just repeating what Jurgen said.
Speaking of women in wrestling, might as well use this as a good pivoting point to talk about Tessa Blanchard.
Back in the news again?
I'm surprised she has gotten any fucking work, to be honest with you.
Yep.
So those who don't know what we're talking about, Tessa Blanchard, of course, the daughter of Tully. She's been basically bouncing around because she was let go from Impact Wrestling, and there was a slew of bad reputation between potentially, bullying other female wrestlers and accusations of being a racist. She was looking to get into either WWE or AEW. those fell through. She was supposed to be part of this new this new women's promotion that was coming up. She's gone from that now, and so apparently she's making her comeback on July 16th in the main event of Hurricane Pro Wrestling, which will air. This show will air on Title Match Network at 8 p.m. She's not wrestled since Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series in September of 2020 when she lost the women's title. Like I said, Women's of Wrestling was what she was. She was supposed to be like one of the big star attractions for this WOW Women of Wrestling thing, and then just poof, she's gone. I don't know how she gets work.
Because of her dad.
And her. She has a shit attitude.
She looks like she has a shit attitude. That's like
this is the epitome of a shit attitude.
Yeah, I know we talked about her in the past. It's just
everybody was like, oh, when Impact let her go, some people were like, it's the dumbest move ever. I don't know what she did. Look, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna continue to say this. Yes, I understand she's a shitty person. I personally don't look at wrestlers. I try not to read the dirt sheets. It's kind of hard. And I'm talking about the fucking crap that's put out on fucking Twitter. And dirt sheets ain't dirt sheets no more. It's all I'm going to say.
I think it's the bad press of her is why I would never get her. She's not worth the baggage she accompanies.
Honestly, I could literally give a shit less about Tessa Blanchard, and that was before the whole racist shit came up. Like, I honestly... Is she strong? Is she strong? Yeah, sure, she's strong. But so is... what's her name? Tia Valkyrie, or whatever her name is.
Sammy Callahan. When they had her beat Sammy Callahan...
Oh, I remember that. That was stupid.
Legitimately the only...
Didn't she
beat... I agree, JP.
Didn't
and
she
literally
beat Brian
the only...
Cage?
Yeah, I think so. But literally the only thing special about this... Literally the only thing special about this bitch is her father. It's her last name. That's it. That is it. She had did nothing to stand out on her own, in my opinion. Because whatever she did, I did it better, in my opinion.
Who did better?
Whatever her name is, Tia
Valkyrie.
Yeah. As far as like big women, as far as like big muscular women go, I would take Tia Valkyrie over fucking Tessa Blanchard.
I take Rhea Ripley over her any day.
Exactly. Like
Sasha Banks over her.
I would take pretty much anything over her.
Yes.
There's nothing special about her.
There is not. I mean, when they put the title on her, I said Impact was dead. Fucking stupid.
Yeah. Well, they shot themselves in the face with her.
They had somebody better on the roster to take on a man and actually legitimize, even though she's become a fickle cunt recently. I legitimize her actually having some semblance of Jordan Grace.
Kaya?
Yeah, I can't.
Okay,
you
I forgot about Jordan. Fuck that. I'll take Jordan over all of them.
You know what? I gotta say, you want to see what's wrong with women wrestling in general? Like, go on Twitter and be like, WWE just signed some girl that was in MMA. But what is it? She's in a bikini. And it's a picture. It's like, I'm going to change the women's division. But in a bikini, it means nothing about
the video.
It's nothing about wrestling at all.
The video it literally begins with like a pan of her ass in a thong bikini.
You're correct.
It has nothing to do with wrestling. And Jordan Grace, yeah, she's a big beefy woman. But every picture I see of her, she's half naked.
So far as women, right?
No, yeah, exactly. This is legitimately as much on the women as it is on the marketing. I 100%
but everybody
believe.
Everybody fucking shit on the Diva era, right?
Yeah, but they're clamoring for it back.
What did I say the other day? We were sitting here watching this. Natalia wants to move on from the fucking women, or
she's gonna go eat out her sister on OnlyFans.
Here's the thing. Sorry?
No, I was agreeing. Go ahead.
But here's the thing, like, yeah, did they move on past the Diva division? Sure, they did. But it's not the fans that are clamoring for the Diva division back. It's the fucking wrestlers themselves. They are putting themselves back.
Well, I mean, it must feel good to be. It must feel good to be ogled, or
I mean, listen. Here's the thing.
I would know for sure.
As a female, I can say, is it nice to receive compliments every once in a while? Yeah, sure. But most females
I go out there in my string bikini, and they call the cops.
Well, I mean, most females are not
but
like.
I'm ogled.
But most females are not going to be like.
Put those cups.
Yeah, is it nice to get a compliment every once in a while? Yeah, sure it is. But most females that I know anyway are not going to be out there fucking wearing string bikinis, flaunting their ass around their neighborhood just so that they get compliments. Like, that's not how fucking normal women work.
The funny part is Jordan Grace went from wrestling and everything being wrestling centric to then taking pictures of herself in the gym to then all of a sudden she's naked all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, okay.
And covered in birthday cake for some odd reason.
It's like why do you need to I'm pretty sure she started off hating the thing she became.
Yes.
Birthday cake.
And then from there she got herself in
that birthday cake right now.
Thing she hated.
Yeah, it's just like women don't celebrate what they can do in the ring. They celebrate the way they look, which is terrible.
Tessa Blanchard.
Whatever, I hope she gets hit by a car.
One of those guys, and I do 150% agree with Connor. Why this woman's she can wrestle. I will give her that. I don't give a shit about her because her attitude is shit. She plays a babyface, but just her attitude says fucking I'm a dick.
Her attitude says I'm entitled.
I hope she goes for a walk near Jeff Hardy's house.
She thinks that oh god.
That's good.
You say that.
Jesus Christ. Everybody sat there and shitted all over Charlotte for using her dad's last name. But meanwhile, she worked to be able to have that last name be just her last name, not what got her where it is. Meanwhile, this bitch here, little Miss Tessa Blanchard, would literally be, as a child, mind you, backstage with her dad visiting. As a child, I'm a Blanchard, you do what I tell you.
It was
exactly.
Holly Blanchard. I mean, yeah.
But I mean,
go ahead.
You look at the Rock's daughter right now that's coming into wrestling, everybody was shitting all over her because she did not want
to be called the Pebble.
Her dad's last name. No, it wasn't even.
She did not want to be called the Pebble. That's
why the Pebble thing too. But she also
her name is like something straight out of a porno.
She
Sperm Rain or something.
She changed her name because she did not want the last name Johnson, because she did not want the association with her father or grandfather. She said she wants to do it on her own, which is very, very fucking commendable.
He was never called Dwayne Johnson in the ring. He was called Rocky Maivia, The Rock.
But the Johnson last name goes with fucking Rocky Johnson, like his father.
She should have been called the Pebble.
Charlotte Flair works, though.
Yeah.
Right, but like...
I'm going to say that her, and I'm talking about the Rock's daughter, I personally think I applaud her for trying to do it on her own.
We'll see.
I honestly don't think people are going to give one
flying
shit about her if she doesn't have...
I don't think they're going to... Yeah.
Mantra with Dwayne Johnson.
Here's the thing. I don't think that anybody's going to give her a chance.
Well, I also feel like the difference between
what they want her to do.
And they honestly proved that, because she wanted to make it on her own, but instead of commending her for doing such a thing, people are ridiculing her.
But I'll also say the difference between like Ric Flair and The Rock. Ric Flair, though he had a great personality, Ric Flair's a better in-ring wrestler than The Rock. The Rock, I mean, if you don't have The Rock's personality and you have The Rock's name, then you're gonna be fucking. The people will throw pebbles at you.
Well, I mean, I had this conversation. I don't know if I'm sure you guys like browsing my Twitter feed at times. There was
never. I'd actually
fucking troll central over there.
I never do unless I want to commit suicide.
They actually put the tweet out. Who is your Mount Rushmore of draws?
Of draws? Oh.
Of drawing power.
Okay. Yeah.
With versions of draws? I
put my little Mount Rushmore is Austin, Hogan, Flair, and San Martino. Brock's not on there.
I couldn't put San Martino because I didn't really watch him.
I did. That's why I put him there.
That's why the Mount Rushmore is a shitty fucking.
It is. You can't. And I think the 4 people that are on Mount Rushmore literally deserve to be there.
Well, but here's the thing: you think that for you, which is great. That's fine.
I mean, we're all gonna have commonalities, though. I think we'll all have like the problem with Stone Cold and the Rock.
Yes, the problem with the Mount Rushmore thing is it's very generational. Yeah. You're going to have people of JP's generation that are going to have the ones that he has. Whereas Basement, Connor, Heather, and myself, you might see more along the lines of like Stone Cold or The Rock or other.
Hey, man, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle.
Yeah, like you're going to see a lot more of those in there. You get people that are even younger than us, and it's going to be even younger people because a lot of people do not take the time. A lot of people don't take the time like we did to go through the network when they had it or to go through Peacock now and to go back and look at and watch old matches from the era before they got into wrestling.
The uncomfortable truth is Vince McMahon was a hell of a draw and not a wrestler.
I mean, I agree with that. Like, I agree.
So for me, if you go back and which I am and I haven't watched an episode in a while, you go back and watch the Attitude Era without Vince McMahon.
Watching the Tude,
there would be no Austin, and without Austin, there would be no McMahon. Even though Bret Hart did kind of,
and without Austin, The Rock,
that's where the idea came from.
And like, Angle would suffer.
See,
I think personally, McMahon is really the bigger draw. Than Austin, you could say, because if it wasn't for McMahon, Austin would not be.
I mean, those two things are separate, though.
Here's the thing. There was so many. Yeah, I agree, JP. There were so many intricate details that went into the Attitude Era and even the Ruthless Aggression Era that if you take one of them away, it would have been very, very different. And that was the greatest thing. My son, when he was into wrestling, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, his favorite thing to watch was not the new age wrestling. I mean, yeah, he was into like John Cena, who was huge at that time. You know, he loved John Cena and all that, but he loved going back. And because when I started him watching wrestling, I started him out watching wrestling that I watched, which was the late Attitude Era into the Ruthless Aggression Era. That is his favorite thing to watch when it comes to wrestling, so he would always go back to that.
Which is why people hate wrestling today. Because
what they're doing, what WWE is failing to do, is what they did in succession at a certain point in time, elevating someone to superstardom and then using that superstardom to elevate somebody else. So, for instance, Vince McMahon elevated Stone Cold. Stone Cold elevated The Rock. He elevated Kurt Angle. He elevated. Now we have Roman Reigns, who's elevated nobody.
Well, here's the thing. I'm starting to see it a little bit in the women's division because they did turn Becky heel, and they are using her to try to elevate.
But you can elevate. The thing is, you can use Roman Reigns to elevate other people without taking Roman Reigns down. You know what I mean?
And I was going to say with Becky Lynch too, they pulled the trigger too late, and a lot of that was because she got knocked up. But I agree with you, Basement.
I will say this, and I will say this wholeheartedly. I disagree with you, Gina. I don't think they're using Becky for anything like that.
You don't think so?
No.
Why does she have an art museum on her head?
The Money in the Bank match, I'm going to tell you why. Tonight was an epitome of that, because the moment, and I'll give Liv Morgan this, I think it was a bad decision on WWE's part to do it, because they knew what they were going to fucking do, and they're doing it. Liv Morgan won the Money in the Bank tonight, so she won the briefcase.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan the whole fucking time. They kept on flashing to Becky Lynch. Becky, they aren't fucking elevating anybody.
No, they're using everybody as fodder for the person that they're in fandom, like the fandoms around. This is it's so short-term mindset where you're gonna have to pick up the crumbling pieces when that person can't be there.
It's and like they forgot.
This is why wrestling can suck my dick.
Yeah, it's like they forgot how to.
I think they actually stumbled into the Attitude Era.
They forgot how to have multiple people that are successes. Now it's like all about we have to have this main dude and we have to have this main girl and nobody else can fucking outshine them. In the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era, there were so many stars.
They need to form the Avengers, not fucking just Iron Man.
Not just Thanos.
Yes.
Yeah, they can't make multiple stars because everybody's fodder to the one. And it's built completely upon merchandising. They have turned into the most evil version of Disney. They don't care about their fans at all. And therefore, I don't care to watch them. And I made that conscious decision to stop because I can say it's very obvious what they're doing. But enough of wrestling. Let's move on to the next.
Tessa Blanchard. All right.
Yeah, fuck her. She take a stroll down Jeff Hardy Lane.
I guess the only thing I was going to say to move on to was the passing of Jaylon Ferguson, dying due to fentanyl, cocaine mix, and was ruled apparently an accident. I did not know really much about this, to be honest with you.
He was a little backstory. Well, Heather could probably. I'll let her do it. Go ahead. You want me to do it? She can't talk.
Okay, I'm gonna listen, but I'm also gonna take a shit.
No, that's okay. Jaylon Ferguson was an outside linebacker drafted in the second round by the Baltimore Ravens, and I think he was a second or third year player because he's in his rookie contract. But he might have
entering third year.
But I can actually look up whether that's true or not.
Doesn't matter. Move on.
Moving on.
So either way, he ended up overdosing on fentanyl,
cocaine,
and heroin. From the report I read, I think it's so he was doing some drizzugs.
Yeah.
That's a backstory on Jaylon Ferguson. That's
drizzugs.
We were kind of discussing this a little bit before we went live because I was telling these guys, fun story for all of you out there listening. Minnesota is fucking retarded in the aspect that they passed edibles, like weed edibles, accidentally. Okay.
Beautiful.
Because the lawmakers thought that it was going to regulate it more, and it turned into whatever. So that's how we got started talking about this prior to the show. But we were all discussing that it is the majority of our opinions that they need to just legalize drugs in general.
Weed.
Like weed, yes, because they need to do something to fight this fucking fentanyl thing. Because fentanyl is being laced into so many different drugs. I know, not to get like super personal or anything, but like my I won't say which child, but one of my child's fathers, almost overdosed on fentanyl, a few months ago, because he loves cocaine. He's in recovery now. He's trying to get clean, whatever.
Drug.
But yeah, his cocaine had been laced with fentanyl, and he damn near died. And this is like a fucking national pandemic now. Like it's an epidemic going all across the United States.
Gina, when it comes to like weed and fentanyl, there's no connection there. But I will say fentanyl and cocaine is a huge connection. And because I think they're both powdered substances, you can cut each other, and it's like, well, we're going to include a certain amount of fentanyl because we have we're going to cut the cocaine with baby powder or something, and we want that to still have some
heroin out of it too. Yeah,
but
they
like,
make heroin out of it too, because they make rocks, they make crystals.
This dude died, and if you guys recall, that actor that played Omar or Chalky White, the guy with the scar on his face, died from the exact same thing: cocaine laced with fentanyl.
Literally,
I mean, these are like people with a lot of money. They're buying cocaine, but the cocaine they're buying is laced because they're trying to cut costs.
It's not even just a lot of people or the people with a lot of money, because in my area alone.
No, but it's happening.
I'm gonna say.
What I'm saying is, it's happening at all levels. The fact that it's happening to somebody that can afford a fucking pound of cocaine is still getting that. That's it's
and like in southern Minnesota alone, within this last 6 months, let's say within the last month, I have heard of at least 12 different people in my area dying of fentanyl overdoses. Just in the last month.
I mean, me personally,
fentanyl is the new drug. It's the flavor of the week.
No, fentanyl
but a lot
is
of people don't know what they're getting. Like, they don't know that fentanyl is in their drug.
Fentanyl is a very strong drug, and it can make up for a weak yield from another drug of the same type. So people infuse it because it's cheaper and be like, I don't want our product to seem weak, so we're going to put a bit in there. But, I mean, a bit to, like, you can have fucking, like, a tiny little bit of fentanyl and fucking get destroyed.
But fentanyl, the weed,
you can't put fentanyl and weed together. They're two different.
Together. But I think that legalizing weed nationwide might help.
Man, I'm almost on the side of legalizing drugs.
I don't want certain drugs, though. I don't want to legalize. So we were talking about this, and I literally said, you can go ahead and legalize stuff, but the military is still going to allow it.
Well, I'm not talking about the military.
I don't think it'll ever be fully legal.
Well, and
the problem is, like,
people are still going to buy it off the street.
That's the problem. It's the same. It's almost the same conversation as gun laws.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, if it stays illegal, you run the risk of getting shit that's not what you want or pure or anything like that, and you end up dying because of it.
In order to combat fentanyl, you're going to have no choice but to tighten up on the border. And, like, right now, even if you tighten up on the border, you're not going to stop it.
I mean, the problem is, like, the border isn't the only problem. All that shit is being made in the U.S. as well. Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
fucking Breaking Bad.
Yeah, people will do drugs. That's just bottom line.
The thing is, if you legalize marijuana, it's not going to fucking mitigate anything else. Even legalizing cocaine isn't going to mitigate anything.
Sorry,
because the government is going to regulate how much you can put in there. If with alcohol, you can only put up to whatever.
Well, you can put a fucking large amount that's not, like, immediately dying from.
What I'm saying is that they're going to regulate it. People aren't going to give a shit. They're still going to go out and they're still going to buy whatever it is.
No, that's not necessarily true. You know why? Because I could go and get weed from a dealer. I'd rather get it from a place that I know what I'm getting. In all honesty, I could go. I fucking have contacts in the past that I could ask for edibles from, but I'd rather go buy it from.
I get what you're saying. I think you're missing what I'm saying. Those people that just
I know what I wanted to say, and you didn't give me a chance to say it. But, like, when it comes to, like, cocaine users, say you know this person had, like, an OD on cocaine or had like, when you're in the system and they know you're abusing it, then it should be more, like, I would say, legally available to them. You can't stop them from using it. You can give them all the pamphlets in the world, but when you know somebody's doing something, then the legal means to get it is better than them going back on the street to get it.
Here's the thing, like, cocaine is an incredibly, like, obviously it depends on your personality. If you have an addictive personality,
like people will suck dick for cocaine. The government won't allow that.
Right, but the problem is when you have fentanyl fentanyl, one, you cannot tell the difference between pure cocaine and cocaine with fentanyl in it. You can't.
It's all just powder in front of you.
Not that I know from example, but I do know people that shit. So that, like, I've heard. But on top of that, it's not necessarily the cocaine that is like
of a drug.
It's not the cocaine itself that is the fucking problem. It's the additives that they add into it, which is what we're seeing with this fentanyl shit. And the fact that it is undetectable
in anything, Bill. That's
fentanyl. You know, like I might be ignorant on this, but I'm pretty sure it's like a powdered substance. It's a powdered pill. Fentanyl.
It is. Part, it's a pill. Right? Yeah, it's a pill.
But you can still put fentanyl in weed.
If I saw weed with like, the thing is, like, I've seen every single, like, if you're gonna smoke weed, you're buying a plant. It might have like little fibers on it that are of different color, but you're not seeing like powdered substance upon it.
Yeah, that's true.
You're missing my point.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
I don't think you can put fentanyl in weed.
Yes, you can.
But how?
I mean, regardless, whatever you have fentanyl in, they need to do something to combat it, and there's no real solution to this.
Well, we lost the war on drugs. Okay, now it's time to everybody. Let's all do fentanyl. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, no, is what I'm saying. That's a hard pass for me. And this is, honest to God, like, I've never done, I've smoked pot in my life, but, like, I have never done anything harder than that. And one of the main reasons why I haven't is because I am fucking terrified of shit like this. Because before fentanyl, there was something else. There's always been some other additive that have been added to these drugs that make it even more deadly.
The thing about the gateway drug, which
bullshit.
Is what they call fucking marijuana, is utter bullshit.
Yeah,
I agree.
I've never done it in my life, but go ahead.
You did earlier.
You can tell by his eyes. I've never done it.
Fucking deer in the headlights.
What I mean by that is you can't. The person that is taking the hit of weed is not immediately going, I need to do coke.
Do you have something stronger? Like fentanyl?
I need something stronger. I've never wanted to do anything stronger. In fact, I can't do anything stronger because it would kill me.
He's allergic.
I can. Well, I'm not allergic to it, but
I'm not here right now. Can you leave a message after the beep?
I mean, even like marijuana, like I hate being paranoid, and marijuana can get me there. I just don't. I can't be in a paranoid state. I fucking hate that shit. I would never do anything stronger.
I've never had any. I've never wanted.
Paranoid, and never get paranoid from that shit.
I've never wanted to do anything stronger. To be honest with you, I didn't smoke weed until I was probably about 23, 24 years old.
I was 11.
I had never done anything before that because I had no inkling to. And
I've never gotten paranoid.
I was peer pressured into fucking smoking weed to begin with, but
I was 11, locked out of my house, and a guy passed me a joint, and I didn't know what it was. He's like, "Just smoke it, man." I'm like, okay.
Jesus Christ.
Blames a lot.
This sounds like a fucking story of like rape. Like,
yeah,
Jesus.
I basically was mouth raped by weed at 11.
Me. Okay, but I've never had.
And now I'm on fentanyl, and everything's great.
To do anything more, because like, to be honest, weed was too strong for me. To be honest, like, I mean, I was fucked up. Like,
I mean, I was. My limit is weed. Actually, my limit is mushrooms.
Never done mushrooms.
Mushrooms are just like a different version of weed. They're almost the exact same, but there's a bit more fun to mushrooms.
I mean, I'm terrified of doing like mushrooms as well because like I'm terrified that I'm gonna end up in a bad trip.
So
I've never had a bad trip from mushrooms. I've had a bad trip from weed.
Aaron, the problem to me is there is no line at all between using something and flat out abusing it. That is a false statement.
Yeah. Do you use your car or do you abuse your car?
People will only use it fairly. The majority of people want to use it just to get high off their asses. So I'm gonna say this.
The world gets boring after a while.
I'm high off my ass right now.
You ever played GTA 5?
I want to be. Sometimes it's okay to escape fucking reality.
Oh, yeah.
Not all the time, because reality is sucks.
Well, and you know what? Like, okay, for me, for example, I never wanted to do anything like that because in my family history, there is a line of people in my family that are addicts. Usually it's alcohol, but there's addicts in my family. So, but because of that, because of like the history of the family history of like addictive nature, I
mean, addictive nature, every single person in the world has addictive nature.
Right. But like, here's the thing for myself,
we're good.
I had an alcohol problem in my early 20s, okay? Like, we've discussed this already.
It's okay.
So because
I have no problems. I'm perfect.
Because I went through that, I think that's why I've never really had a need to do anything more because I don't want to become addicted to something that could jeopardize myself or my children.
That's the difference maker. When you have a responsibility, then whatever your addiction needs to go at the fucking world.
There's no fine line between like doing something and whatever. There is a huge line because as JP was just pointing out, it is perfectly fine for us to take edibles every once in a while. Like myself, I don't. They're not weed edibles. Like mine are CBD. They're like Delta 9, 10, whatever. But it's perfectly fine to do that every once in a while. It's not going to be some sort of gateway into us doing it all the fucking time, unless we want it to become that.
I'm going to do it all the time.
But I mean,
JP, I'm not gonna lie. You're very pleasant.
I think what Gina is saying is, I'm not going to take that step up because I don't feel the need to take said step up.
That's exactly it. Like
saying that weed is a gateway drug is a fucking idiot because the only way that I'm going to allow it to become a gateway drug is if I allow it to become.
I mean,
that's exactly it.
You're still in control. I was going to say if
you want to take that step, yes, that is it.
To Alpha's point, I'm like, have you ever played GTA? And then how long did it take you to input cheat codes to get all the weapons?
I was gonna.
You get bored of the game real fast.
I thought you were gonna.
And it's like I need to get all the weapons. I need to get 5 stars, and I'm turning this game into my own playground.
I don't know why, but I thought Basements, as soon as he said, have you ever played GTA, I thought his next words were going to be, how long did it take you to start killing hookers?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the most ridiculous ways. The thing is...
The best that I would do, I really just remembered this. The best what I would do when it came to killing the hookers is that I'd go in the car, pay them, we did what we did, and then, literally would take the car with them in it and drive it off of the
biggest mountain in
the water.
There was a gigantic mountain in that game.
Yeah, that thing, in the water. Yeah, like O'Connor's just like in the water.
The dock off of the water. It took me a second. Listen. Brain rebooting. Okay,
he's making it work.
I would drive off the dock into the water. And then the hooker would get out of the car and instantly drown, and then the money would float, and I'd just run back in and get my money.
Oh, I'd go in the back alley, they'd leave. And
then we wonder why the world is so fucked up.
And then I would put in the code to drop a tank and it'd land on her. I get the money anyway. No, I mean,
oh my God.
The thing is, oftentimes, reality is disappointing, quoting Thanos.
But killing hookers
is
great. A smile on my face.
The point to Aaron is, and that's your choice. I'm not telling you, but I'm not a bad person for.
Yes, you are. You're the worst.
Nobody is. My mom drives me like I love my mom to death, and she means well. And every single time that she says something, she's saying it out of like love and like trying to protect me. But like, if I have a beer. Okay, you guys know exactly how much I drink, right? I drink maybe once every 6 to 12 months. And even then, it's like 2 beers and I'm fucking slashed. If my mom finds out that I drank a beer, she will literally lecture me for the next fucking 45 minutes because we have alcoholism running so much in our family. And my mom is like, and she here's the thing with my mom. My mom is afraid that by me drinking that one beer, it's going to be a gateway into me becoming, I don't know, because I wasn't an alcoholic in my early 20s. I was very fucking close to it, though. I was very close to becoming an alcoholic.
I'm full on.
But my mom is like,
I'm going strong. I'm 20 years not sober.
But like just that one beer, she's afraid that it's going to cause me to start drinking every day again, you know. And I told her, I'm like, you have to understand that I'm not in the same mindset that I was when I was 20, 21 years old anymore.
I got things to take care of.
I have responsibilities, and I know that I have responsibilities. In no way, shape, or form will I ever do anything to put these children in any kind of danger. That is why I don't drink so much, because I don't want to become that addictive nature again.
I wouldn't even put my dog in danger, so there's that. I mean, exactly. When it comes to full-blown alcoholism, you're going to, like, sacrifice everything in your life for it.
Right. But, like, so I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, just because I have one beer every, like, 6 months or whatever does not mean that I'm going to turn back into a fucking alcohol problem again.
You are the devil, you know.
Yes, I'm the devil. But she's so scared about that, you know?
You want to quickly go back to the Jaylon Ferguson thing, and I know I do want to say that on the if all you Ravens fans, this just set their defense back because this guy was really good.
Yeah.
Most of you know that I'm an avid football guy. He is the epitome of what I would put and be a hybrid. He was Reggie White-esque.
Yeah. So Alex Radford, shout out to Alex in the chat, says, I mean, the thing about weed is there's so many different types and ways to smoke weed that honestly you can always try new things with it without having to graduate to something else.
I mean, the idea that weed is a gateway drug is absolute fucking bullshit. There's no such thing as a gateway drug. The idea is if I want to get fucking blasted to the point of no return, I'm going to do some terrible shit.
It's literally all up to the person's mind.
Or it's like your social setting where like, hey, you're out and somebody's like, I'm starting to do a line and you're like, the pressure or you're impressionistic and you do it.
You're curious.
I can literally speak from experience because, I mean, I was an avid smoker when I was younger.
Pole smoker.
And I quit cold turkey.
I don't know how you do this shit. I've been trying to quit for like fucking a year.
I smoked for a while. I quit that.
It's not easy.
The Wizard, okay?
I quit smoking weed. I quit smoking.
You're talking about weed. I thought you were talking
about No, he was a cigarette smoker, right? Weren't you?
Cigarette smoker
I can't believe you guys all smoked the
at the age of 21. I'm 49 now.
I like how he's stroking those fucking
I smoked for about 26. I smoked right before I met Heather. So when you all started knowing me, I had literally quit smoking.
That's when I hated you the most.
These are like literal lies. It was like a year after I quit smoking. So I used to smoke like I smoked 2 packs a day.
Ooh, shit. I you know, smoking makes I get like I never got to the point where I could get past like the head brush badness.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go again.
No, I could never I smoked cigarettes for like a couple of years, but it was never I could never a pack a week or something like that. And then I was like, I'm not really getting anything out of this except for badness.
Here's the thing. I roll my cigarettes now, so I'd still say that I'm probably about a pack and a half a day smoker. Oh. I have smoked since I was 16 years old, and I want to quit so fucking bad. But here's the problem, and it's not an excuse. Well, it is, but it's not. Here's the thing. With me, everyone around me smokes, which makes it so much more fucking
there's
difficult.
A lot of enablement.
Not only that, but hold on. But then you tack on all of the fucking stress of financial shit, the kids, the world today, and it's like I know I can
survive living on this planet.
I know I can do it. I just
Chantix did the fucking trick for me. It did take 2 tries, but Chantix worked.
AP, you know what? I've been on Chantix twice. I will say this: I'm horrible at taking medication. Right? No. Here's the thing. Just hear me out. I am horrible with remembering to take my medication. Chantix was working amazing for me that last time, but the problem is once that week was over and you hit that second week and you had to go to 2 pills a day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night, I would always forget to take my fucking pill.
Do you want to know what I did to mitigate that?
What's that?
You take a Chantix and then smoke a cigarette. The taste, I was literally coughing. Like, I could not stand the taste of that shit. Like, I literally took a Chantix. Chantix isn't going to make you fucking... Because, you know what I mean? It's not going to make you go, oh my God, I can't drive. The one that you take at night does. But the one that you take during the day, you'll be fine.
Here's the thing. I
literally take one, and I would literally smoke 2 or 3 cigarettes on the way to work. Because I worked...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know we drive. I work in Dubuque, so it was like an hour drive. And
I love the name of that place.
I would smoke a cigarette, so I put a cigarette in my mouth one day, and it literally, I was coughing from Dickeyville to my work, and I was still coughing all fucking day, and I never picked up another. It's something that triggers it with Chantix. It has to be something that triggers.
Yeah. Here's the thing, JP. I do have a doctor's appointment coming up this week on the 7th, actually. And the reason why, along with I have to see a neurologist, so I need a referral for that. But the main reason why I have this doctor's appointment is when I called the doctor, I asked them, I specifically told them I want to start Chantix again because I do want to quit smoking. I really fucking do. Not only for my own health, but for my kids' health, because so there's a lot of reasons why I want to quit. But
people do say, go ahead, Gina. I'm sorry.
And I'm not even gonna lie, like I love Chantix because it gives me like the most amazing, vivid dreams I've ever had in my entire life.
This stream sponsored by Chantix.
I had one vivid dream, and I was just gonna say vivid dream. I had one vivid dream where I was buck-ass fucking naked,
sitting in a field.
Well, there you go.
Those are the best dreams.
It was very vivid, like I was actually doing it.
Maybe you were.
Yeah,
Chantix.
You woke up and,
so
real life is a dream.
When I woke up,
I was in a field, naked.
I was buck-ass naked, sitting on the edge of my bed doing this.
Yes, like they are. Well, I never had that experience, but like mine
Chantix is like they are made by Gandhi.
I know, like, okay, no, but here's the thing with Chantix, they actually warn people about vivid dreams, but they say they warn people because the dreams are supposed to be like nightmares. I never had a fucking nightmare with Chantix. It was the most vivid, amazing
the name is fucking creepy
dreams.
Chantix.
Chantix is
dude, like that's the whole. I'm not even gonna lie. That's the whole reason. Like, do I want to quit smoking? Yeah, sure. Do I want fucking those dreams back again? You fucking bet your ass I do. That's why I want Chantix back. Give it to me. I'm addicted to Chantix.
It didn't work for me though. It something has to trigger why you don't want to smoke, and that's what Chantix does.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, I don't want to feel that feeling again. And I never picked up another cigarette. Just me smoking a cigarette right after taking it.
Alex says, LOL, Chantix dreams, LOL sounds like a trip. It is a fucking trip, man. They're great.
I know you're used to smoking cigarettes, but take a Chantix. It's like a worse drug. It's like get addicted to Chantix for the fact that you're gonna end up in a field naked.
I still have a box of it in my drawer, but like I can't take it because the first week is gone.
What?
Chantix is one of those.
Like,
It's one of those drugs because the war against smoking and all that shit. That actually it's always going to be free. That you don't have to pay for it.
You don't have to pay for Chantix?
Yeah. Okay, so basically,
I think I might get Chantix. I'm not even smoking.
Basically, what Chantix does. So like for the first with Chantix for the first week, you take one pill, but you continue smoking for the first week, and then the second week you quit smoking and you take 2 pills a day, one in the morning and one at night, and that helps you like.
I mean, I take 9 pills a day right
wean
now.
off of smoking. God, those dreams, man, they're great.
It's you take for 2 weeks. You take it morning and night, or at least that's what I did. You take it morning and night. It's just the dosage in the first week is bigger. The second week, the dosage of the night one is higher because you're sleeping. The morning one isn't. And then on the third week, you're just taking a regular one. And then if you have to still smoke, which is when it happened, like middle of the 4th week.
I take 9 pills a fucking day, and I wake up wanting to die.
So
here's Chantix.
No. Chantix will hurt you.
So to touch on what Alpha said in the chat, he said that he said a lot, but basically he said that he doesn't do anything because he doesn't want to be addicted, or doesn't want to become addicted. It is all a choice on yourself. You have to have a mind that is
ironclad,
an addictive mindset.
I will say this: are you addicted to steak? Aaron? Do you like? Would you eat a steak like more than once or twice a week?
Yep. Yeah.
No different.
I mean, like I said, like to be human is to have an addictive personality.
Everybody has an addictive personality.
It all depends on what you're addicted to, and some things are more destructive than others, right? Obviously.
Like I mean, myself, it's cigarettes and Pepsi, and
I've
not
never
gonna lie.
met somebody that wasn't addicted to something in my life.
I want to break both those addictions, to be quite honest. But the problem is, if I fucking stop drinking Pepsi, that's my source of caffeine. But I don't like coffee, right? Everybody tells me, drink coffee. I don't like coffee.
I don't like. I give up coffee because I don't. It kills my stomach.
I don't like it. I don't like the taste of it. I fucking hate it. So like, I drink Pepsi instead. But like, if you take caffeine away,
what the problem with that statement is? Drink coffee then.
You don't have the sugar. You have to put 18,000 pounds of sugar in coffee.
Sugar, it is the caffeine. The caffeine will do that.
Right.
So there's actually more caffeine in coffee than there is in Pepsi.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I need a certain amount of caffeine because I'm so addicted to caffeine. That's why I drink my
anybody
Pepsis.
that drinks coffee.
I'm not even gonna.
Coffee is the most addictive fucking thing in the world. I'd say every single person around drinks caffeine.
I'm literally not even gonna fucking lie. I hate the taste of Pepsi, but I have to have that certain. I do. I fucking hate it. Like, I hate it.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
I have to have that certain amount of caffeine, and Pepsi is the only drink that I actually
cocoa beans or whatever the fuck it's from.
Tolerate.
Green tea extract.
Well, honestly, I want to quit. I want to quit the Pepsi. So I'm thinking that I will probably just get a low milligram dose of caffeine pills because I can't quit Pepsi cold turkey. I'm so addicted to the caffeine that if I quit it cold turkey, I actually get really fucking bad migraines.
I honestly feel like if somebody wants to quit something they're addicted to, you have to actually introduce a new addiction.
Yes.
That is what I would do if I was somebody that's smarter than I am.
I'm just going to, in order to get myself off the caffeine, I'm just going to replace the Pepsi with a low dose. Just hear me out. I'm going to replace the Pepsi with a low dose of caffeine pills, and then I'm just going to keep on going down in milligrams.
Dangerous.
No. Not if you get it like a really low.
They're more dangerous than the liquid form because at least you're getting more
I don't
than
know
just
what the fuck
caffeine.
else to do.
Just fucking drink Pepsi. I don't know what to tell you.
You can't lose weight. The soda makes you gain a shit ton of weight.
Yeah, well, it's all the sugar in it. You're not only addicted to that, you're addicted to the sugar as well, right? You know what I'm saying?
So you tell me what I can replace Pepsi with
water,
other than caffeine pills.
Water and migraines is what you can do.
Do you want to? You don't want to deal with me with that fucking no.
I'm not going to deal with you anyway. I'm going to hang up.
I mean, you deal with me every fucking day. What are you talking about?
Every day, every now and then.
Shut up.
These two, I tell you what.
Fucking Pepsi, son of a bitch. We do have one more story, by the way.
Ouch, I just broke my finger, but go
You
ahead.
have to drink Coke, but go ahead.
And it's Heather's story about a ball sack.
Not going to
About
cover
what?
till?
A whistling ball sack.
Oh, yeah.
Whistling ball sack.
Yes, apparently a man saved his own life because his testicles, or rather his scrotum, started whistling.
Dixie. It was whistling Dixie.
Yeah, that's what I would want my scrotum to whistle if it could. Dixie.
What?
One of those things, man.
Whistling Dixie.
Yeah. Apparently he had too much air underneath, trapped inside his body.
I got you.
Yeah, started.
So wait, if he had too much air trapped inside his body, they would
His
puncture
chest cavity.
they would puncture his lungs, not his balls.
That was from 5 months before.
So he
he's got a lot of holes.
his procedure done on his.
He had swollen testicles, so they went in and.
I mean, who
punctured
hasn't, right? You know what I'm saying?
And just left it open so that it would stay
Happens.
relieved.
I don't like that idea. You know, you ever see the cows with like the hole?
Yep.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, it was the first thing that popped into my mind too while reading this story.
I absolutely love the gift. That's all I'm fucking saying.
Perfect.
I'm guessing this whose line is it anyway? Because that looks like Wayne Brady, I think. With
I don't think it was Wayne Brady, but it's definitely whose line is it anyway.
Is that supposed to be his balls, or is he supposed
I think
to
he's supposed to be a.
What about Wayne? I checked out for a second. What about Wayne Brady?
Wayne Brady's got a hole in his balls to help him from relieving air, so his balls were whispering in the wind.
Is
They were
that why
whistling
he
in
can
the
hit
wind.
that?
Can
you paint with all
the colors of
Is that why he can hit that high note so good on Whose Line It Is It Anyway when he's singing?
Yep,
Possibly.
that's exactly why. But he's the first case, right, of whistling balls.
Whistling ball syndrome.
So anyway,
But why would you have a hole in your balls for longer than 1
I
minute?
probably pulled a JP and said I'm not going back to the doctor because
I'm just gonna leave this hole in my balls. Aren't you gonna be leaking like ball fluid?
so apparently it's still
We didn't go into detail about that portion of it. I think it was
I
just
think
a
they needed to
swelling
go into detail with that
in
portion.
itself and not within the actual testicle.
So either way, they put a hole in his fucking testicles, and his lungs became shriveled because that's what happens when your lung collapses. Actually, it expands.
Hey, that's what happens when you
Honestly,
put a hole in your balls. You die.
Yeah.
I'm staring
Like
at
a different
Connor
camera.
right now. Connor is in the fucking zone, man.
So anyway, so what
Told
had
ya.
happened was this guy went to the doctor because I did read this story. This is one of the stories I read because this guy with the balls had me caught. So he ended up fucking going to the doctor and fucking
Yeah. The doctor said, Too much air.
Fucking.
yeah.
And he said, "My testicles are whistling."
And he did say my testicles are whistling, and
The
they're
doctor
like,
said,
well,
"Do you want some
guess what? The
fentanyl?"
hole in your testicles is causing your lungs to collapse. They closed the hole in his fucking testicles and then fucking punctured him so that his lungs could fucking release.
So
all
he
the pressure.
deflated the only thing that looked like balloons on his body.
Yes.
Yeah, which makes sense to me.
I mean, if your lungs are filled with air, obviously I'm going to deflate your balls.
So I pretty much told that story correctly.
Yeah.
Is that? See, I read shit. Don't
I
tell me I
know.
don't
What
read
you told me makes little to no sense.
Shit.
That's literally what I meant.
That's how it was written.
That's how it happened. So they sucked the air out of his body through his nuts.
No.
That's the only thing that saved him from dying.
It was that he had whistling balls. That was
His
the
whistling
only thing
balls saved him from dying.
Mhm. Because his balls, he said, if you listen, he said that his balls were whistling, and and the doctor, I'm assuming, said, well, that's why your balls are whistling, that's why your lungs collapse, is because your balls are whistling, because air is getting into your balls, and that's how a lung collapses. A lung doesn't get
A
pushed
lung
to a
doesn't collapse because your balls are whistling.
I know that. I think you're missing the point.
We, as doctors in the
I
field,
love how He looks at Heather and he goes, I think they're missing the point. And she just starts rubbing his back like, no, honey, it's okay.
God.
Yeah, I agree. That's where I store all my air.
I've got big balls. You've got big balls.
Collapses. It's not really a lung collapse.
I mean, I don't think.
I get what you're saying, Chicky. I get what you're saying.
There's like, why would your air go to your balls?
Oh my God, I can't with you today.
I can't with me either today.
So much in his body, it's only where it could explain.
Yes.
But why would it go there?
Because it was the only open place other than his mouth.
What about his asshole? That's an open place.
There's no
for
time to
business,
sit him around.
24/7.
Funny as fuck to hear about.
I'm just telling you how a lung collapses. I don't fucking know.
You told me how a lung collapses,
Balls to the
and
wall
therefore
when that happens.
air comes out the balls.
Yeah, when it falls.
It's in the fucking sack of the fucking lung.
Yeah, sack.
It's a different sack.
Far removed from the lung.
You know that there's a sack that covers your lungs?
Yes, I had water between that and my lungs.
Okay. So that's that.
I never
sack.
had whistling balls.
Well,
Your balls didn't have a previous puncture hole in them.
Well, you're presuming.
No, and then the only thing that I can come up with is he didn't go back to the fucking doctor because he didn't want his fucking balls to fucking be looked at anymore. I don't know.
Well, he had a hole in them, I guess. But what happened to his anus? Why wasn't it involved?
There's nothing that came of that.
Yeah.
Good God.
What?
Did you guys want to touch on the till thing or no?
Yes. Let's touch on the. I don't have a. Just imagine a black and white terribleness.
So basically, this week. Sorry, Connor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, by all means, please take control because I am gone.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm interested to hear what you guys have to think about this because basically, this week we all know the story of Emmett Till, right? And we all know what happened with that. JP, shut up.
He said no. He doesn't know. I don't know.
He knows exactly the story of Emmett Till.
I don't live in America. Tell me.
Oh my God. Emmett Till was a little boy who was basically accused of rape by this white woman, and he was hunted down by a search party, and basically hung.
Can I ask how old this kid was?
Fuck. He was... I don't remember. Hold on. I can Google that. I don't remember exactly how old he was.
How long ago was this?
1955.
1955, and Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy at the time, 1955. Okay. 67 years later, a search warrant has just been found in a folder in the Mississippi courthouse last week that was basically calling for the arrest of the woman that accused him, which ultimately led to his death because it was a false accusation. The woman knew that it was a false accusation at the time, and there was an arrest warrant made for her 67 years ago, but somebody hid the arrest warrant in a folder in Mississippi and buried it for all these years. Now, today, there is a call for this woman, who is an old woman now, to be arrested because the arrest warrant was issued and it was signed and all of that stuff, so they want her arrested.
Yeah, shoot her too.
Yeah, make her have sex with a 14-year-old.
What?
Let the punishment fit the crime.
You too far.
Sorry.
Yeah, too far. Reel it in, basement. Too far.
I think I know. This guy was, you said hung?
Yeah.
He was a 14-year-old boy, and he was basically chased and by a mob.
What's wrong with this person?
Angry white people. And they caught him and they hung him.
He wasn't allowed to play with their Switch.
Oh my God, basement! Jesus fucking Christ!
I mean, in that time, Switch meant something different.
Shit. 1 second, be right back.
Switch still means the exact same thing. Basement, trust me, from the South.
Not if it's from Nintendo. The Nintendo Switch is a branch. Oh, jeez.
I hate you so much right now.
Same. I hate myself.
So I'm confused.
So they killed a kid that was innocent, and now they're asking for this old ass woman to be arrested.
Woman saw Emmett Till in her neighborhood, and for some odd reason, nobody knows why, she felt the need to falsely accuse him of rape. She knew it was a false accusation, but because she accused him of rape, there was an angry mob that followed Till, found him, not just hung him, they beat him to a living pulp. I mean, they beat this kid to the point where he would not have been he probably would not have survived from the beating alone, from what they did to him. And they let's put it this way, JP, they beat him so badly that he was unrecognizable by his own mother.
And I understand that. So the real story is because that was 1955 in the South.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now beat her.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Emmett Till did not live in the South. He was actually visiting relatives in the South at the time.
Okay, but I'm just saying that is the epitome of what the South was in 1955.
Exactly, and him being from the North, he didn't know.
The real story is the woman. They actually found an arrest warrant
for her that
because they knew it was a lie, and it was
buried by somebody in that township.
Right, and right now a Mississippi grand jury,
Mississippi.
Well, they declined to bring manslaughter charges against the woman in 2007 because of insufficient evidence, because the warrant for her arrest had not been found. Now that the warrant is found, manslaughter charges will probably be pending against her.
She didn't kill her.
I mean, how old is she?
But she was the cause of his death, because without that...
yeah, it's like you're not going to charge the electric chair, you're going to charge the person that put them there.
That's why it's a manslaughter charge and not murder.
I mean, how old is this woman?
Let me see if the articles. I don't remember seeing an age of her in there.
I didn't want to see when she was raped. Does it say?
She could be 14.
It doesn't say. It does not say how old she was.
In the picture, she didn't look. She looked like 60.
She looks
70.
like she looks like she's probably in her 70s. Maybe even early 80s.
All right. Well, she might be in for a bit of rape.
November 15th, 1955.
Yep. See, the whole thing was like basically Emmett Till was somewhere where he technically, in southern terms at the time, he was in a place where he wasn't supposed to be. Him being from the north, he did not know any better.
Big black
He's not accustomed to the southern. No, but
he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly.
I mean, he's not the only one, but you know what? Let's destroy this person. I want to kill her.
Me personally, if they found an arrest warrant and that arrest warrant was issued, it was signed, it was legalized, fucking arrest her. I don't care how many years later it is. Arrest her.
Right there with you.
She will have her day in court later on, and then they can decide at that time whether they're actually going to charge her or not. But if there is an arrest warrant that was hidden by somebody, then arrest her. And if they find out who hid it, if they find out who hid it and who buried it for all these years, and if they're still alive, arrest them too for obstruction of justice.
Kill them all.
I like how Gina said that. Whoever hid it and buried it, arrest them motherfuckers too.
Yeah.
Happy Canada.
If they're still alive, that's obstruction of justice.
November 15th, 1955.
I remember hearing the story of Emmett Till, and I fucking bawled my eyes out. Like, I was literally...
I don't cry because I have no emotion.
Listen, in college, I heard the story before college, but in college, we actually had to look at pictures of his body.
Mm-hmm. Why?
And
Why would you have to do that?
I don't know, because apparently...
Hey, welcome to college. Here's a 14-year-old beaten to death and hung.
Apparently, our professor
What is this class? It's English.
Okay,
Studies.
It was some documentary that they made us watch for class. But apparently, my professor thought it was going to be a good idea to make the entire class fucking cry that day.
What was the class though?
Yeah,
it was fuck, what the hell was the name of that class called?
Fucking race crimes.
Oh, it was.
African American
I
Studies.
can't remember what the fuck.
Oh god.
No, I did take African American Studies, but that wasn't the class.
Children literature.
I heard that.
Oh, this one was. It was. I can't remember the exact name of the fucking class, but it was a class where we basically learned about the minorities. No, minorities of America. It's basically what it was. It was about the minorities in America.
So the class
all
was
the
called
different
Minorities
groups.
of America.
It's history, people.
I can't fucking like.
It's probably
I
a
can't
history class, American history.
You guys, do you guys? Okay.
I took Latin history, and all I learned about was mulatto. And it's like, you can't say that
I took
nowadays.
African American history too, and we had to relearn about Emmett Till at that time. But
Nothing.
I had racial minorities. That's what the class was called. It was called racial. But at that time, I had already taken racial minorities in my first year, so I already saw the
class in college. Why do we need to know about it? We have U.S. history. We don't need.
I mean, racial minority. Gina, you're a step away from having blue hair.
No, here's the thing. I had to take certain classes for my gen ed classes they had to be within a certain bracket of items that would be counted towards my gen ed credits for social work. So
yeah, that makes sense then. I get that.
Yeah, this class was like it fit in the right time frame to match up with the rest of my daily schedule, so that's what I took.
Geography.
No,
I did take
fuck geography. I hate geography. I want to know where I am. I never want to know where I am. Let's just put it that way.
Geography, and I also took it was the class called Oceans of the World, where we learned about the oceans
of the world. Wait, you got 5.
I would either go with marine biology or fucking
just take an OFFI class.
I took psychology, sociology.
I took
criminal
psychology,
English. They were all kind of shit.
I took psychology when I was at Rasmussen College. I took sociology at MSU. I've taken all those classes too. Basically, all of my gen ed credits are covered. Like those are covered.
My favorite class was criminal psychology.
All 7 of the major social sciences are covered. There's 7 social sciences.
Okay.
I'm just saying. 7 or 8.
Alex, the school made me cry for several reasons, most of which is because I'm $61,000 in debt and I don't even have a fucking diploma yet.
I left with a diploma and a very soft dick.
This class. How long ago was this, Gina, that you took this class?
It's been a while.
Which one? Racial minorities?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Fuck, that was in 2014.
It's been a while.
That tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
I'm taking gender studies in 2022.
It should never be a class about...
It's basically calculus.
Listen to me when I'm not shitting on anything. Racial minorities should not be a class in college. Should not.
No, it's
well,
actually
here's the thing.
People.
My racial minorities teacher was actually, she was amazing. Like she
white?
I'm not saying she wasn't.
No, but here's the thing. Just
white.
hear me out.
Was she white?
Oh, no, she was a little Asian lady. But she was fucking amazing.
They were the majority of population.
She was fucking amazing. She was really funny. But racial minorities class was we focused on a bunch of different things, okay? But fast forward to the gender studies class that I had to take, because it was like one of those core classes that I had to take in order to fucking qualify for my social work program. Oh my god. Literally, I took a pop culture class, right? It was supposed to be about pop culture. This, mind you, this was during the Clinton versus Trump election. What? I think I told you guys this story before. When it came down to election day, it was the day after election day was actually my last day of college for the semester.
Okay.
And my teacher, she wasn't even a fucking professor, she was a teacher, actually had the nerve to tell the whole class that if she found out that anybody voted for Trump, she would automatically fail us. And I told her, I said,
You're not
the next day
anymore.
we came back.
Wow.
Fucking
Sorry?
ist. You're an ist.
What do you mean I'm an ist?
No, the teacher was an ist.
Oh, yeah. But so I came back the next day because, like I said, the day after election was our final for the class. I came back and we took the final, before we took the final, we had this like little discussion about the election because everybody at my college was having a fucking meltdown, right? Because Trump won. Everybody was having a meltdown.
Yeah.
Like they needed safe rooms. I have never seen anything like it in my entire life. I was actually, after this class was over, I went outside
hilariously
to smoke.
funny. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I was outside smoking, and there was another girl out there that was right around my age, and we were like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is ridiculous."
Yeah, well, it's impressionable minds.
Anyways, back to the class. The teacher started like fucking harping on Trump or whatever, and I raised my hand like because she said something about Trump, like who voted for Trump or whatever. I raised my hand and I said, I'm not gonna lie, I voted for Trump. And you guys can judge me in this room all you want, but he is the best solution to our problem, in my opinion. And if you fail me for that, I will get a hold of my lawyer and I will sue the school faster than you can fucking blink. And another girl that I was friends with said the same thing. She's like, I voted for Trump too. Next thing you know, there's like 6 to 8 of us in the class that are like, yeah, so did I. But because I told her, if you fucking fail me on my final because I voted for Trump, I will sue the fucking shit out of you. Guess what? Got an A in that class.
There's no grounds to stand on.
Yeah. No,
you can't fail somebody for your political beliefs, and exactly. That's where, again, pretty much the fucking
that's how bad it got.
Society. That's how bad society is. I'm gonna fail you if you voted for somebody.
If you think different than me, I am going to ruin your life.
It's in your fucking face, and you can fail me that way. How about that?
You think different than me, I'm going to find where you live, and I'm going to ruin your life. It's like,
you
what?
Would think that, you would think that I would have. Like, to bring it back to what I was saying, you would think that I would have ran into, like, an issue like that more in, like, a class about racial minorities or a class about political science or something like that. It was a fucking gender woman study class. It was about pop culture. What does pop culture have anything to do with
women studies? But essentially, gender women studies is.
I didn't want to take it. I had to. I was forced to.
No. But gender women studies is essentially, hey, let's.
My choice.
Yeah. I'm not even going to go there because.
Literally that day.
Take a class, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to take it. And it wasn't gender women's studies, but it's just along those lines. And I just took the class. I didn't say anything during the discussions. I just put out there what I needed to do, and I didn't interact with any of my fucking classmates because I probably would have gotten kicked out of school.
Here's the thing, though. The funny part about that was gender women's study class, you would think. Like, the whole class was about pop culture, and we talked a lot about, like, LGBTQ and transsexuals and, all this stuff. You would think that that would be a class where somebody that was part of LGBTQ plus would feel comfortable. My first day of class, we had a transsexual person in the class. He was in the middle of making his
transition.
She was in the middle of making her transition. Very fucking nice person. The nicest person, but they were very quiet because they weren't comfortable because everybody was staring at them, and I felt bad for them. So after class one day, I kind of talked to him, a little bit and introduced myself.
Wait, her?
Mm-hmm.
They? Whatever. They were in the middle of transition, and I can't remember what they. At that time, that was before that. I like to be called they. That was before that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. But that's when the stories that I have, that's right about the same time, and I'm just like,
you would think that for a class that is supposed to be so fucking supportive of
the
LGBTQ,
most judgmental people in the world,
they made that person feel so fucking out of place that they ended up dropping the class, and I ended up running into that person. It was a couple months later.
Do you want to know why? Because any normal fucking person that is doesn't want to be called out.
Yeah, well, they would stare at him. They would just sit there and stare at him, and like,
he's gonna get stared at either way.
I mean,
sorry, here's
the thing. But the thing is, like, I ran into that person it was probably about 6 months later or so, because it was the next, like, I took that class in the spring, so it was the next fall that I ran into that person. And I was like, hey, like, you dropped out of gender women's studies and I hadn't seen you since then. How are you? Or whatever. And they told me flat out that they felt so fucking uncomfortable in that class because everybody was staring at him. And it wasn't just that he said, I'm used to everybody staring at me. But that teacher just made him feel super fucking uncomfortable because they were always putting him on the spot. And he's like, I'm a shy person to begin with. I don't want to be put on the spot. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, the school is supposed to be all about inclusion, but the people that are like you want to highlight the most, you are alienating. Like, shame on you. Fucking shame on you.
Well, I mean, the thing I find funny too,
my ass.
The thing I find funny too now, it's like there's like there's a socially acceptable way of thought that is mob mentality thought. That like I watch like certain YouTube channels and they're like, yeah, it's like I was watching one where it's like going to a family get together and talking to your non-progressive uncle or something like that. I'm like, the idea that you think your thoughts are progressive already labels you as the successor of what that conversation's about.
Yep.
Progressive thought doesn't mean you're right. It's a label put on an ideology that is yet to be proven. People have different thoughts about it. And it's a very complex conversation. It's not right and wrong. It's levels of right and wrong. And you're talking about human beings, which there's levels of them too. So you never I hate that idea that people are like, especially on like social media, they feel so comfortable in thinking they're right about everything because the media is backing them up. You are backed up by fucking Satan himself, and you think you're right.
Sorry,
I've had to deal with the LGBTQ plus.
I mean, I met a lot of people that are lesbian, gay, bisexual, whatever, and transgender, like in the mix of changing. It never impacted my life in any way to the point that they think they're telling you it will.
Here's the thing. The whole point of it, JP, I know you were trying to say something, I'm sorry, but like the whole point of the inclusion factor is supposed to be, you are supposed to treat them just like they are a normal fucking human being, because that is what they fucking are. They're humans.
The problem is everything that's going to happen is going to take time. Sorry, JP, go ahead.
Right. So the thing is with people like that, what Gina just described, they're looking for attention. Anybody
that's not what I described at all.
Well, you just said.
Oh, I said like you're supposed to treat them like they're humans. Like they're not supposed to be fucking treated like they're fucking alien species or anything like that. Like if you want to be treated equally, then you treat everybody like they're a fucking person and not what they're labeled.
I think there's a certain amount of them. There's a certain amount of them that are true to being confused, and then there's a certain amount of them that are celebrity wannabes.
The people that are out there that do what you just said, looking for attention.
You mean the people that are out there
I don't agree with
I'm
that.
different, I should be treated different, I prefer they, them, whatever.
I don't agree with the idea that, like, because what Gina said was she encountered somebody that was shy and didn't want to be outed, and they just kept fucking putting the microscope on them.
It wasn't the fact that he didn't want to be.
But he didn't want the microscope, basically.
Yes, he didn't want the microscope on her, and the teacher put the fucking microscope on her, which was so fucking wrong. And I could see, it was very, very fucking easy to see that this person was a very shy person. They were very introverted. They did not converse with people a whole lot. It didn't take a rocket scientist to see that, hey, this person may be in the middle of transition, but they do not want to be fucking highlighted and called on every single time in class, whatever. If they were an eccentric person and they were like, hey, whatever, this is me, this is who I am, that's a different fucking story.
But then again, but my point is, it's not even those people. What I'm saying is just there are people out there that are the exact opposite of that. That do you know how one bad apple?
Yeah, they're like, look at me. I want to be seen for what I am.
What I'm talking about the people. Look at me. This is what I'm doing just because. Well, not just because if you're doing it just because you're a fucking idiot, you're doing it. You don't need to have it thrown in my face. That's why I don't ask questions. Like the person that I had that was doing said transition, they approached me, and I told him specifically, as long as you don't throw it in my face every other fucking 5 seconds, you have no problems with me. I don't care.
I think.
Sorry?
I'm just saying, you don't have a problem with me. I don't care. Do what you want. I will support you in any way, shape, or form. But don't sit there and go, oh, poor pity me, because people don't like me for who I am now.
I think
it's not so much for me. It was not so much him doing the transition that bothered me. It was so much as like somebody would say something, and then that person would be like, well, that's not exactly true.
Well, I mean,
it's like, stop.
I think the biggest problem, sorry, Gina, I think the biggest problem with everything that's going on is there's people that are devoted to being like, I feel like a woman, I'm a woman, whatever. That I'm okay. Like, do you realize who you are? It's the surrounding fucking miasma that's like, I'm going to make a decision to say I'm something. It's like everybody wants an identity, and everybody's lost throughout life for the most part, right? These people, they clamor to something. They don't really make a decision outside of the fact that they say they're something without being something. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the hot topic. It happened throughout high school for all of us. It happened throughout fucking the life through a lot of people, and these people are the ones that are like, I'm this sexual, I'm that sexual, I'm pansexual, I'm genderless, I'm gender fluid. It's just a way to identify yourself because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Welcome to being alive, motherfucker.
See, here's the thing. I do ask a lot of questions in certain situations. Like, for instance, if there are things that I just don't understand, I will ask questions, but I do it in a respectful manner where it's like, I don't understand, can you just explain it to me a little bit further? Cause like, I was just talking to, my neighbor's daughter the other day, who's a teenager, about like pansexual. And I said, okay, so like, if I understand it correctly, like I'm explaining it to her, and she's like, yeah, exactly. I talk to her about this stuff a lot because like, her generation and my son's generation, they are a lot more accepting of it. So I feel like I can learn. I am not one of those people that think just because I am older than you, I can't learn anything from you. I'm not like, nope, I'm older, you learn from me.
But no, I do feel like there's a hell of a lot of lip service going on in that generation now, where it's like, I need to label myself as something so I'm important.
But I also feel like it is important for us to listen to that generation, because if you actually talk to somebody who has a level mind,
it's important
in that generation and actually knows. But if you talk to somebody that has a level mind and actually knows who they are as a person, because I'm not going to lie, my neighbor's daughter and my son, whether they're LGBTQ, they're not, whatever, it doesn't matter. They know who they are as people. And when I talk to those
I've never met somebody in my entire life that is not an adult that knows who they are.
Oh,
they might seem like they do.
Are very, very like no. They know who they are. They know who they want to be. So when I talk to them, it is very intellectual conversations, so like I feel like I can learn from them just as much as they can learn from me, because they are a lot more accepting than our generations are. So I feel like sometimes, yes, I understand what you're saying, Basement. There are some of them in that generation that are just like very lippy.
I mean,
and
in the end,
but there are
the end,
some of
like,
them that if they are very intellectual, and if you actually sit down, listen to them, have a conversation, we can learn from them.
I agree.
Like they can learn from us.
I agree, but experience trumps everything in this world.
Right, but when it comes to accepting people as they are, I have never met a generation that is more accepting of people for just being who they are than their generation.
Because they've been molded that way.
Right behind us.
They have been molded that way.
I disagree.
I mean, the world changed for them to be that way.
Which I don't think
they had the point in it, but
the extremes of it is bad. The extremes.
I mean,
of
just
it
like the generation before me is. I've changed from the generation before me that was much more
so like
blatant racist,
right.
racially.
You said the world is molded around them. It's not. That in itself is not a bad thing. What is a bad thing is the excessiveness that we are seeing in today's world. That is bad. Excessiveness in anything is bad. But their acceptance for people being who they are,
I mean, that's only a good thing. And I hope that the bottom line is you want that to happen. You want people to be... I want the younger generation to be better than I am, just like I hope I'm better than the generation before me in terms of things that make sense. But I do feel like people they make grandiose statements about being something they might not be just so that they're noticed.
Yes, and that's
with sexuality being a hot topic, it's like everybody's some sort of something. It's like cool, but you probably aren't. And when you get 40 years old, working at a dead-end job, you're going to be like, I guess I just want a dick.
I'm just the type of person that, like, it doesn't matter what age you are. I feel like if you can have an intellectual conversation without getting angry or having any kind of, like, that horrible negative emotions being brought in, if you could just have a conversation with somebody and just open up your mind a little bit, you can understand so much more about not only just that person but their generation from whatever they come from. And every generation can learn from we can all learn from each other if we actually just sit down and have intellectual conversations with each other.
Can I say this? I would like to meet those two. I've met Austin, even though I haven't had an avid conversation with him.
I mean, he has anxiety. He doesn't talk to many people.
I understand that. My point is, I'd like to bring that down where I live, because the generation that they are in is the shittiest generation of all. It's all about me and nobody else. It's the entitled. Again, the entitled generation. This generation feels so fucking entitled by fucking everything that it overwhelms those good people out there.
I do feel like it's kind of
our
needed,
generation.
though. I mean,
generations before us claimed the same thing about our generation.
But I feel like it's needed to disrupt the fact that people are working slaves.
Yes.
Honestly, like we're at a breaking point where people are unhappy with their lives. We're unhappy going to a place and fucking stamping shit left, right, and center and going home. Where's the meatloaf, bitch?
Especially when you're working your ass off, slaving at a fucking job, and you still can't get ahead.
You go, yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. You're at work slaving at a job, and this generation expects you to give them everything.
But no. I feel like I feel like this is something they need to revolutionize the workforce, because it is a broken wheel that's continued for way too long. You have too many upset people doing monotonous tasks that they're way better than.
And like JP, what you said, I will politely disagree with you, because
I do feel like they're self-centered, but I hope some good shit comes out of it.
Just hear me out. It is not everybody in this generation, because the teenagers around me.
The majority of this generation, it's just like any other generation, the majority of the generation is going to rule. And that's
you know
how that
what?
generation
There's
is
always
going to be. But that is how that generation is going to be looked at, no matter what anybody says. I agree with you. I agree with you, 100%. Like I said, I would like for those two to actually come down where I live and actually teach people what it's like to be an actual fucking human being.
Here's the thing,
of a fucking shitty fucking person thinking that you have to have this just because you are who you think you are.
And here's the thing, a lot of it is just in how you raise your kids, because like Austin is a very Austin is a very old soul. Okay, like we went to the fucking, I'm not even gonna lie, we went to the antique store, right?
How dare you go to the antique store?
No, I'm not even gonna lie. You can even, like, my boyfriend Philly, he's out there probably listening. He can vouch for this. When we were in Wisconsin, the first thing my kid wanted to do was go to the fucking antique stores because he loves to go hunt for old records, right? But we were at the antique store, the local antique store here, and he was looking through records, and he bought his records, and, you know, he has anxiety, so he's standing next to me, but I pay for it, you know, or whatever, because, like, he just, you know, whatever. So he's standing right next to me, and the lady says, "Oh my gosh, these are some really good records you picked out." And I said, "Actually, they're not mine. My son picked them out. They're for him." And they looked at him and they go, like, double take, you know, and they said, "Boy, you must be a really old soul. Like, you need to come visit us more. We would love to have a conversation with you because you are a very old soul." My neighbor's daughter is the same way, not necessarily with the music, but she is a very old soul when it comes to, like, just her personality.
Music isn't the issue with me. Like,
no, the music was just
using it as an example.
I get that. I'm just saying, I don't want people to think that I'm shitting on the generation now.
How dare you? Shit and not shit.
It's every generation. My generation is raising this generation now. Have had kids during this generation. Yeah. The generation I'm talking about now, it's my generation's fault.
I don't think that's
fucking generation, because we allow our kids, and Gina is one of the. I'm not one of those people. I never allowed my daughter to do shit.
I'm going to say this. I think this generation needed to happen. I think a level of self-importance.
I'm not saying it's
no. A level of self-importance.
My point is that every generation has had their downfalls. Like my dad, my sister, and I with our generation. My generation. My dad's a baby boomer. Well, was a baby boomer. My mom was a baby boomer. My dad was a baby boomer. He hated sitting in the car and listening to the Beastie Boys that me and my sister.
And that was my point earlier. Every generation goes through it.
No,
I'm
but
not just anybody here. I'm just saying it's every generation has always had.
Alex,
that overrules everything. Nobody can look at everything.
Real quick, Alex in the chat wants to know, what age group would you consider to be the entitled age group?
Jesus Christ! Yes. The high school kids today.
But you know what? Like, no, but like, I feel like a level of self-importance needed to happen to rearrange the world from making paid slaves. In all honesty, and like, you need to have that group that fucking turns the world back to, like, instead of working to make the rich richer, I want to be happy living my life and contributing to society. 99% of people aren't, and that's a problem. That's a problem that needs to be fixed, and it can only be fixed through self-importance at this point.
A lot of it is parenting, because, like, when you do your job as a parent, you will raise a child that is not afraid to be who they are, accepts everyone for who they are, but also understands the fact that they will not get ahead in life. They are not entitled to anything. They need to work for what they want. And that
was brought up.
We're also getting to the
way
point
that you need to raise children. You need, but like, in today's age, there's a lot of people that they're not parenting their kids. They're friends to their kids.
Well, my point is, every generation has its flaws.
Its hang-ups. I don't like raising a bunch of egotistical assholes, but
yes, but the extreme always overrules that. Remember, the one apple, bad apple makes the bushel bad. My point is that somebody does something, and it's.
I do feel like the working world needs to be revamped because nobody's happy. And if you don't have happy people, you don't have progression the way it should be. I mean, it's.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
To me, there's no way you're going to like you can. We've gone through enslavement. We're still going through it to an extent.
Alex brings up a good point in chat for me anyway. He says, we'll wait a couple more years. Problem is also politics and the age requirements to get into it. I mean, it's like 35 to join most of Congress or Senate, which is an.
I mean,
that is kind of a valid point though, because I do believe that there should be an age limit.
I don't think you should have a 75-year-old president.
Exactly. As much as I believe that the age limit should be dropped down to, I'm going to say like
60,
30-ish, like 25
I'm
to 30.
going to say.
However, I believe that there should be an age limit on the opposite end as well. As soon as they hit the age of like 55, 60, get the fuck out.
What I'm saying is 30 to 65 is probably like where you're yourself, like where you've learned enough to be competent enough to make decisions and you understand the world enough to kind of do that. After that fact, you start to get like long in the tooth, and before that fact, you're dumb as shit. So I mean,
not everybody is dumb as shit before they hit the age of like 30.
No, but
and
not everybody's dumb as shit before the age of 30. But
this is why the age limit shit is only for the president. If I remember correct, because
there's no age
limit. You can be 18.
You've got a
fucking governor in the state of California.
You've got a bag of dust sitting as president.
Actually, do you guys remember the story?
Any age limit any lower than 30 years old, as far as Congress goes.
Do you guys remember the story that I told you about the fucking acoustic guitar, the guy I was like on a date with or whatever for New Year's?
Yes.
You guys
How could I forget an acoustic guitar story?
Dave Matthews Band? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, the guy that I was like on a date with for New Year's Eve, fucking horrific. His friend.
Best. If you like Dave Matthews Band.
He was horrific. Because first of all, he was playing acoustic guitar, singing Dave Matthews Band in a very fucking off key. Second of all, he was an entitled douchebag, soon to be doctor, fucking just completely douchebag. But anyways, the guy that was his friend that we had gone down to Iowa to visit was actually, he was 22 and he was actually the mayor of his town.
So the age limit thing, you can get into politics at 15.
A 22-year-old that's a mayor? Oh my god, I'm leaving that town.
No shit.
It's happened. It's mayor. Fucking mayor.
No, fuck that shit.
Look,
just really,
look. So
keg
politics,
parties every Monday.
You can be any age. You can get into politics.
I think Alex's point is like a lot of these congressmen, senators, all that, they are on the older end. So I think when you talk about age requirements, I think that there needs to be a fucking cap. This is why I'm
good
a
luck
very
being 22 and having like
limits. I think there should be term limits.
That's what I was just gonna say. I am a huge proponent for there being an election every 2 years.
But good luck being 22 and understand how the world works.
Term limit,
you can't change the law.
Term limit, I believe, should be changed to where it is the same as the president, where they can only serve for 8 years max. Otherwise, we get people like Nancy Pelosi.
So don't say 35 then, Alex. So my point is, you are correct, but I forgot what I was going to go with this.
No, you made a half a statement.
I did.
I think you should be mayor.
No.
I mean, I don't. In all honesty, like somebody that's in their early 20s, I don't care who you are. I don't care how old soul or anything like that. You don't have the experience. It's just, I'm sorry, you don't have life experience. It's just.
Oh, it depends on the person.
I think you can't. I mean, I kind of.
You can have a bunch of experience to that point in life, but you don't have life. When I say life experience, I'm not experiencing something as a 28-year-old. I'm experiencing something as a 16-year-old that a 28-year-old should experience. You know what I mean? It's so like your mind isn't there yet to fully comprehend.
I feel like we're doing ageism very much so in this conversation.
Yes, because ageism does exist and it should exist.
I mean, I don't know about that, but end of conversation. Not end of conversation, but the end of my point is there should be
conversation.
I feel like ageism should exist to a point because
become a governor.
I mean, you could experience your whole family dying and then 18 car crashes and you're 7 years old. All of a sudden, you're okay to become governor?
I don't.
Yep.
Like that's taking it way out of context.
Well, 10 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old. It's the way you process things that comes with age.
And that's the thing. It's not necessarily what comes with age either, though, Basement, because there's a lot of people that have experienced a lot of shit by the age of, let's say, 20.
I'm not taking like life. I'm not
Just
taking.
Fucking hear me out. There are a lot of people that have experienced a lot of things by the age of 20 that most people by the age of 40 have not fucking experienced.
Yes, I agree.
But the difference maker in that is how that person processes that.
That's
what
I'm
those
saying.
experiences. But you could have somebody that is 20 years old that is able to process those experiences and convert them into actual goodness way better than somebody at the age of 40.
I mean, I agree to a point, but it's still like I can only use myself when I say this. The way I've experienced certain things in my youth would not be the same way I'd experienced it in my 20s. Would not be the same way I experienced it, or not experienced, dealt with it in my 30s versus 20s versus teens versus being a child.
I've experienced a lot. And I can honestly tell you, I would never, ever, ever run for Congress. Ever.
Never. I don't want it. I hate it. I feel like it's going to turn you into a monster.
Alex says, but lives are different and generations are different. I mean, technology and communication is a lot better nowadays. I mean, there's also things of common sense. There's also understanding history of not even yourself. The true thing is to see things not for only yourself. It's how you see things for everyone around you, no matter what.
And that's the true tale of a leader. No, but that's the true tale
and
of a
guess
leader.
how old Alex is.
No, he understands it, but enacting it is a different thing.
But if he can understand it, then he can
No.
obviously
No.
Yeah. Listen, I know Alex, and I'm telling you right now, what you guys are describing, that does not describe him. Like
But Alex, how old are you?
I'm telling you, no, he's probably 20 years old. He's 20 years old, I'm going to say.
I can tell you right now, I would not vote for him, ever, even if he had a good idea.
What, Alex? You got my vote.
Dick.
No. He's like, I mean, I'm not saying.
You're voting. Hold on, but JP, that means that you're voting on somebody based on their age and not what they're actually about.
Well, the problem is ideals. Anybody can have ideals, but to have the experience to understand why ideals might not work, or where they will not, or what systematic problems you might face with ideals, or how they're going to be enacted, and what might find a way. Like when I was 20, I'd be like, I could fix world hunger, but you can't because you won't.
Alex says, I'm weird, LOL.
It is. We've got how old is he now? I don't even know how old Biden is. Biden's what? He's in his 70s, almost 80s, right? Yeah. He's been in the fucking office. Literally, he's been in a fucking public office for literally 50 years.
Yep.
And he still doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So,
but
case in point.
I mean, the bottom line is like you have to come to a point. He understands the political machinations. No, he does. He does. Or else he wouldn't be president.
No.
Like, for sure. They're playing the game. They're all playing the game.
Alex says,
ideals are great.
I'm for music. He says, "Can I get a vote for the Grammy though?"
All right, I'll throw you that because why not?
If you can sing, then I'll.
Or play an
Alex
instrument really good.
I've heard Alex sing before, and he's not only an amazing singer, but he's an amazing guitar player. And I sound like I'm totally kissing Alex's ass right now, which I'm not trying to do. So sorry.
You're suckling on the Radford.
My niece Paige.
Mm-hmm.
She can sing. That doesn't mean I'm going to vote for her for a Grammy. She can sing. Very
but those
well.
awards are bullshit anyway. Let's be real.
I hear you. It's
it's a popularity contest.
Most votes like that. The baseball all-star.
It's a popularity and sympathy contest.
So when people are, I love it. I love that when people on Twitter get on there and fucking lose their shit because
their favorite player
didn't get fucking voted in. I literally have to tweet at them and say, you do realize that it is nothing more than a popularity contest, right?
So, Alex says he plays sax, guitar, and do front of the house for music.
I don't know where you work.
No,
he actually works in a venue that has a lot of musicians in it.
No, I mean, the thing is, he found his calling. He found his calling, and he is going for it. And you know what? You'll be better for it than any of us, for sure.
You won't be in your like almost 30s, 40s, bitching on YouTube about the next generation like we are.
God damn that next generation! Get off my lawn.
Next generation, Gina. That's never gonna stop.
I'm 50, and I bitch about my previous generation. I yell at my daughter constantly.
You're 50. I keep on forgetting you're 50, man.
He's 49. Aren't you 49?
I'm definitely an old.
No, I thought you were 49. When the fuck did this happen?
I am 49, but I will be 50 this year. A couple months, actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. What are you going to do for your 50th birthday? I hope you get naked.
I'm probably going to fucking in a coffin.
Stop making yourself older than what you are, because your birthday's in September, which means that if you're older, then I'm fucking older, because my birthday's right after
I'm
yours.
74, going on 16.
Like I said, I do agree with Gina. I'm just telling you how it is. This is me, everybody. So if you're watching this for the first time, this is me.
I mean, the fact that I think Alex is a younger guy listening to us, yeah, he's 24. That's not that. Yeah, you got it. 24 listening to us. Well, you made a mistake.
Yes.
But like I've actually like I talked to Alex and he's 24, but he's wise for his years. Let's just put it that way.
I'm wise for my years. I was wise at 22.
Yeah, he's Gandalf the Great.
I know. But I'm just saying, I was 21 and joined the fucking army. Trust me, if you're 21 and you join the fucking military, you are literally, if you don't figure yourself out in about 2 weeks,
you're in for a shock.
A drill sergeant will make you either find your way or he will turn you inside out and make you
Connor's got the munchies.
I mean, the name a drill sergeant is just the best name of anybody.
You know what? I'm sorry to cut you off, Basement, but I have literally been watching Connor for the past fucking 20 minutes. First of all, he has said a total of like 4 words in the past hour. Second of all, this motherfucker has the munchies like you would not believe.
I just ate like
74 children.
Half a thing of Oreos and then two Pop-Tarts.
Oh man, Pop-Tarts, they give you. You know what, Pop-Tarts? I used to love them, but now I hate them.
I like the strawberry ones, but I have to put them either in the toaster or in the microwave for about.
You ever ate a Pop-Tart that you didn't pop? Just like a regular tart where it tastes like shit.
What?
Like you haven't toasted it. It's just a fucking raw Pop-Tart.
Oh, just a cold Pop-Tart.
Yeah, you haven't. They're called Pop-Tarts because of the fucking.
I just ate that.
Come on. They're called Pop-Tarts because they go in the fucking thing.
The way you put it, instead of saying, "Have you ever eaten a cold Pop-Tart?" You're like, "Have you ever eaten a Pop-Tart that hasn't popped? It tastes like
a tart that's not popped."
Yes. Well, Fuck you guys. I'm gonna go take a piss.
I hate you.
I know what Pop-Tarts were created for. They were created for those, and this is part of the problem with our generation today.
It's on the go.
Always on the go.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say our generation. It started with mine.
I was gonna say Pop-Tarts actually started a long time ago.
You've seen the shows on TV where it's like, I'm late for school, mom's sitting there fucking slaving over the fucking stove making scrambled eggs, and the kid's like, I don't have time to eat, Mom. I'll take a piece of toast.
Yeah.
That's where Pop-Tarts came from. That's why Pop-Tarts are a thing.
I mean, the biggest problem.
If you aren't going to eat my fucking scrambled eggs, you fucking.
I mean, the biggest problem with mankind is we've only learned to exploit. We haven't learned to nurture.
Mm-hmm.
All we do is exploit each other every time, all the time, and make money off of it, which means nothing because it's fake. I mean, if you nurtured people and what they want to do and how they would do it, and didn't make all these boundaries, then you probably end up with something better. But hey, we're filled with black voids that we fill with fentanyl.
Alex said, "Yeah, my family is a lot like how this show is, so it's just normal for me."
Your girlfriend is turning 34. Whoa.
His girlfriend is beautiful, by the way. Like,
well, I don't care. She could be a monster, but good for you, man. Going up. On, I guess you're climbing. Yeah. Did you plant some? Look what I landed. Did you plant some magic beans and find her?
He's what? How old are you? 35.
Yeah.
How old are you?
How old are you? 35.
JP robbing that cradle.
I love the fact that he looks at her. She's how old? How old are you? 35? And she's like, yeah.
Who's the high one here?
That's right.
I mean, who isn't? You're all.
Funny. You ever notice when those two look at each other? It's like an abrupt, and they slightly turn their chairs when they look at each other.
Heather's been going back and forth,
Oh my gosh!
I like how prominent the Mike's Hard Lemonade is. That's been empty for 20 hours. Oh my God! It's still there.
So the last time I tried to drink Mike's, I made the mistake of drinking it months and months and months after Heather and JP were here, and it made me vomit.
But did you vomit blood?
No, it just made me vomit profusely because it had. I didn't think that it was a big deal. What's the difference between sitting in my fridge or sitting on the fucking shelf? But it was probably 6 months after they left. And I decided to drink one, and yeah.
I as soon as I vomited blood, I'm like, I guess this is the end.
What did?
Alex's girlfriend's a MILF apparently.
14-year-old. Wait a couple years, you can date her.
Oh my God! Basement.
Just fucking with you. Good for you. Good for you. Going after, or falling in love with a girl.
Waiting to see where Basement's statement's going to end with that.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna.
I didn't know there was a hard.
Hey, I have Mike's Hard Lemonade. Yeah, but you can open it if you want to. You don't have to. We're not forcing you. But that's cool. I mean, that's cool. Everybody needs love, and good on you, Alex.
I mean, yeah. It's all about Alex now, I guess.
Well, to be honest with you, my life is terrible.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like all of us struggle in daily life, but fucking Basement, you keep on getting the short end of the fucking stick.
Yeah, JP and Heather have a kid. Connor has multiple kids. Gina has multiple kids. I have an appendix that I'm waiting to abort.
That they refuse to abort.
I know. They passed the law here.
So I was at Mom's today, and she looked at my leg. Apparently, I got a scar on my leg.
Wow.
And my mom looked at me. She goes, "How did that happen?" I said, "That happened like a month ago. I'm not healing from it." She's like, "That's not good." Yeah, it's because I'm 49. I mean, I'm getting old.
49 years young.
Well,
listen though, like fuck, man. I was like, I was talking to my mom about Canadian healthcare the other day, and like basement. Yeah, you got brought up. And I told her, I said, this guy just cannot fucking catch a break. You get brought up a lot. Like my mom pretty much knows like all of you because you all get brought up.
Like
But
social.
Yeah, but no, I'm like, this guy just like he cannot fucking catch a break. And then
it's bad. It's bad.
I said, I go, he keeps on saying that somebody has it fucking out for him, and she goes, it sounds more like somebody is looking out for him.
Yeah, it's one or the other, but I mean, it comes in threes, right? So my dog had seizures. My dog had seizures. Took him to the vet. He bit me, and then I got appendicitis. It comes in threes, baby.
Just saying, the fact that you can kind of laugh at that is pretty good still.
I mean, if I didn't laugh, I'd kill all of you.
Love you too.
Love you too, bud.
No, I gotta laugh. I mean, my life has been pretty great. I can't lie.
But you know what? Here's the thing. You've had difficulties in your life, but like more than most people probably. I have to say, judging by all of your fucking stories, you have probably lived more than most people that I fucking know. Like you,
I go hard.
Self-inflicted, like the trip to Dominican Republic would be.
Yeah. I've done a lot of stupid shit because I had a lot of stupid shit done to me. So, here we are.
Yeah, which leads him to stories
about
fucking hookers jumping out of bushes.
Fucking the English Brock Lesnar punching the other guy. I'm just taking the piss, bruv. And we had to run away from him because he was on a rampage.
I fucking love your stories, man. It will like you could tell me these stories over and over again for fucking 20 years to come, and I will never get fucking sick of them.
Fucking gay Kanye. Trying to have sex. Gay Kanye was trying to have sex with me.
Oh, I remember that part.
This story.
Yeah. I was like younger me and a bunch of my friends. We took a bus to Florida, and it was in Panama, and it was like a weekend of fun. But weekend of fun turned into like gay Kanye trying to have sex with me. So like this was back in the day. So it was like wet t-shirt contest, this and this, and we went out to a bunch of bars and they had a bunch of like it was like, hey, here's a bowl of liquor, drink it. We went back. We went back to like the resort, and we were all drinking. We were passing around a bottle, and I passed it to this guy, this black dude who was right beside us. I'm like, yeah, cheers. And he took that as some sort of thing that, like, I'm going to have sex with you tonight.
That's happened to me. I'm going to tell you, no, that's happened to me.
I see how that could be easily confused.
Yeah. So he stalked me.
I was going to... So I was out in New York in 2003, 2004. We got deployed.
I would have graduated high school then.
Shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
So 2003...
Robbing that cradle.
I was in northern New York up by Buffalo. And we would go to the dance club, and I would literally stand there. And yeah, so literally the same things the basement's talking about has happened to me. So I'm with you, brother.
I'm telling you, man.
Cradle or what?
I mean, the problem was it's just extended throughout the whole weekend. So like I shared the bottle with him. We drank, and I'm like, yeah, cheers, bro, whatever. I didn't know the guy was gay. Though me being dumb as shit, the writing was on the wall. The guy was probably like slowly stroking his cock beside me. I don't know, but I walked away, and I was going like we eventually got super drunk, and we were all trying to make it back to the room.
Sounds like a common denominator story sometimes.
Yeah, I made it back to the room. One of us made it halfway through the room and just threw up all over the ground. And then I like as soon as we like brought him into the room and tried to make him like okay, I looked out the door. And I saw this motherfucker like 30 feet away, just staring. Oh God! He was like, you ever watch Terminator 2? He was T-1000, but he was gay and black. And like the next day, I woke up. Like we're all fucked up.
The next day, you woke up naked with a gay black man next to him.
No. I woke up. I looked at the window, and this guy's doing backstrokes in the pool right beside him. I mean, he never like physically tried to do anything, but like, good God, was he creepy as shit. And he looked like the reason we called him Gay Kanye is he had, the Kanye West had those like glasses that looked like they had like blinds across them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him.
Oh God.
Makes sense to me.
So Gay Kanye, he stalked me for the rest of the weekend.
I fucking love your stories, dude.
Most, you know how a lot of people come up to me and said, I'm gay, right? I'm like,
a lot of people come up to you and say that?
Yeah. Come up to me. I should say I've had people come up to me and say, I'm gay.
That probably should have said that first.
Right. I'm high and drunk. So yeah, I've been in the same boats the basements have been. I just can't. I try to forget them.
I can't forget them.
Remember half of them because some of them are great.
Gotta have me.
And then we got Heather over here. Like, why the fuck are you still talking?
I've had some. Like, in all honesty, like story-wise, there's a lot of ridiculousness going on.
So I don't think that we've even fucking hit the tip of the fucking peak yet.
There's a lot of ridiculousness. Oh my God. The thing is, I tried to live life to the fullest.
But that's the way that everybody should live their life. Like, obviously, a lot of us can't afford to travel and things like you have, but like you can still live your life to the fullest in whatever place you are.
Just don't become a fucking binary code. Go in, snap out. Go in, snap out. Go in, snap out. Don't do that.
Right.
Just hit them.
I mean, it's a 1 quadrillion to 1 chance that you actually have full life. So. Do something with it. Even if it doesn't mean anything.
Do something.
Enjoy something at some point in time. Be weird. Go fucking wild. Get arrested by cops. Now.
Yeah, go to Mexico, get arrested by some cops, and then fucking, have them. Yes, then have them pretty much extort you for fucking money from the ATM
They only
machine.
extorted me for $100, and they drove me home. So, and I learned all about their life. I learned all about their life.
They only extorted me for $100.
Listen, the part of that story
my friend spent $100 on a hot dog, so. And he didn't go home.
The part of that story that always fucking gets me, where he's like, and they drove me home. Like, it's like the greatest thing ever.
It is kind of the greatest thing ever.
Oh, yeah. But they pretty much kidnapped you.
Then no, they arrested me is what they did because I was pissing in public. That's illegal.
They arrested you, and then
essentially what they did was make love into his ass.
Yeah. They basically did that. He told me about his fucking life and his troubles with his children.
Basement literally got McLovin'd. Oh my God.
I know. It isn't for my bubbly personality. I'd probably be in prison getting ass fucked for the rest of my life. And I was like, what,
but they brought me home.
I'm not ready for this. And he's like, I need to go home to my. I actually cannot remember how we got talking about his kids, but we did, and that's how I got home. I talked to him about his family.
That part just always fucking kills me. But they brought me home. He sounds so optimistic.
Well, this
about the whole horrible situation.
It was a terrible situation, and anybody, including myself, would have lost their shit. But for some reason, I was like, "Oh, the cops, of course." For some reason, I just knew what was gonna happen. It was like writing on the wall. I'm like, "Oh, they're gonna take me to 18 different ATMs. Like one ATM is refusing me, but the next one will accept me." And the whole time, I was actually just forgetting my code. That's how I was like, okay, I remember it now. Here's $100. Take me home.
For anybody out there, by the way, ATMs are now actually designed that if a situation like this happens, obviously that was in Mexico, so it's a little bit different. But in the United States, if anybody ever kidnaps you and takes you to an ATM, wants you to get money, if you actually enter your code in backwards, it automatically sends a signal to the police.
Well, the police kidnapped me.
Which is why I said your story is different. But if anybody's ever kidnapped, extorted for money in the United States, that is what you can do.
You know what though? The Mexican police, they're pretty solid. They had good families.
They fucking arrested you, kidnapped you, and
but they
arrested you.
They arrested me for good reason, and then they gave me an option. It's like, give us money, or Mexican prison.
Extortion.
A Mexican, yeah, I'm okay with the extortion if that's the options. Mexican prison or go back for $100. Come on.
Listen, I honestly do not know which story is better, the fucking Mexico story or the fucking the Dominican story. Oh my god.
I would give up that $100. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anybody would. Like $100, send me back home. Let's talk about your family. It's all good.
Besides sitting in prison for 30 years?
I walked into the room. The other guy was there. He had the other bed. He's like, I thought you were dead. I'm like, I'm good, bro. Then I fell asleep, and the funny part is, like, the bed had a bunch of, like, comforters and shit, but it also had, like, this weird, like, ribbon. So I wrapped myself in the ribbon and froze to death the entire night. And such is life.
Oh my god. Listen, that's the first story that he ever told me was the Mexico story, but
it's a good story.
I don't know which one's better, that story or the let me rephrase, that particular story about Mexico or the other story about Mexico with the fucking sinking boat or the one about the Dominican. I don't know which one's better.
I mean, I've lived my life and I have no no regrets.
I admire that. Like, I
no
admire
regrets.
that so much.
Regrets.
No regrets.
No
Think
regrets
about
at
how
all.
long it will take for police and how long it takes money out. Take money.
Yeah, I think he's talking about when I said enter your code backwards. But at least then, Alex, it might take the police a little bit longer to get there, but at least then they can pull the surveillance camera and see which direction you went versus nobody knowing where you are at all.
Plus, once that happens, everywhere has fucking CCTV cameras now and security cameras, so it won't take that long.
First thing, no bucks given. All right, well, I guess Connor comes back. I guess this is the end.
Yeah, this is the one a lot longer. Kitty cat.
Oh my god. What?
I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I really want a fucking cat. Like, I have my dog and I love my dog, but I really want a cat.
Get a cat.
You just shat all over my floor. So
okay, I really don't want a cat.
Really?
You can have them.
I mean,
you can have them.
It's gross.
No thanks.
So,
I don't want your cat. I want a cat that's
the cat shat all
over the floor. Yep.
Yeah.
The cat's out of the
anyway,
bag.
On that note, any other fun little stories or tidbits before we wrap it up?
No, please God, make me stop talking.
I think we've hit pretty much everything.
We have, and then some.
God, please, people, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't be something that you think you have to be, because you don't have to be anything you don't want to be. Just be you.
Deal.
For fuck's sake, man. I'm so sick and tired of seeing the fucking shit on fucking line and fucking in the news. Just be you.
I'm an avian human hybrid.
Can't we just go back to just leaving each other the fuck alone?
You know what I mean? Just like respectively. It's like, hey, I'm an avian human hybrid.
You. So, yeah, whatever.
I don't fly, and I'm not a bird.
You identify as a fucking dog, whatever. You identify as a bird, like that one lady in that article that we had. Fucking go for it.
Yeah.
She's an avian human hybrid. She's like, I identify as this, and he identifies as a blue jay. I'm like, you know what would look good on you? Buckshot.
That's essentially, I don't.
If you're gonna act like a bird, you're gonna be hunted like a bird. That's all I'm gonna say.
She said they do not inherently have a gender.
Which is absolute bullshit, because all birds have a gender. The males are more flamboyant than the women all the time. In avian culture.
Here's my question. Are we gonna start the episodic what the fuck news next week?
I'll get a few more titles first.
Well, we had a couple in this one. So
here's my proposal. I feel like we should add the viewers into this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you guys have, you guys can disagree with me if you want, but if you guys have anybody out there listening, if you have any kind of like what the fuck news pop up that you want us to cover, tag us in it at the Horny Goat 1 on Twitter, and your story might pop up on.
And can I say this?
Can I?
Don't make it political.
Yeah, please don't make it political. We want to keep it fun, light. The what the fuck news is supposed to be like, whoa, what the fuck, and make us laugh.
Yeah, just keep it political. I'd rather laugh at shit than fucking
cry in my own asshole.
Yeah.
But Connor's gone, and I do feel like I'm going to say this on his behalf. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Everybody on the call.
I say one more thing. Do not forget to vote on the best wrestling that you seen last night on this channel.
The GM pay-per-view.
The GM pay-per-view. That is up until Friday, right?
Yep.
Please vote for that.
On the Twitter.
That's it. That's it for tonight. Connor, you want to take us out?
Yeah, might as well. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. YouTube.com/HornyGoat. Check us out on all the podcasts platforms you can listen to us on. And I don't think we're not doing anything tomorrow, as far as I know, right?
If we do anything, it's going to be Horny Goat. I know Drew's doing the show.
Tomorrow night is actually Drew's big 4th of July celebration over on the Derailed show, which I'm not sure if he relayed, but I was supposed to relay to all of you that you are all invited to that.
Yes. I may show up. I'm hoping to show up, but again, I don't love everybody.
Yeah.
I will
right on.
Well, fuck it. I don't care.
But yeah, so like a lot of us will probably be over on Derailed News and podcasts tomorrow night.
Cool. So and then the one after that would be most likely Marvel Roundtable on Monday with Avengers Endgame.
I am looking forward to that. To be honest, I still haven't watched fucking Miss Marvel. I guess
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
So you got a lot of catching up to do. Anyway, thank you for tuning in.
No, I don't.
Thank you for all new wonderful people for I can't even talk. Thank you for all the wonderful people for joining us in the chat. Thank you to JP, Heather, Gina, and Basement. We'll see you guys next time right here on No Bucks Given. Peace out, y'all.
Night, bitches. What do you want me to do?
What?
Good night, bitches.